the SighSquad podcast. As always, I'm Ethan.
I'm Duncan.
I'm Ben.
I'm Noah.
I'm Brendan.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Just kidding.
So, last week was Thanksgiving, so we did things a little differently, but we're back this week, back to our normal stuff. So we'll start out with the last week of college football, I guess. Alabama was in a big-time game where if they lost, they were out of the Power 5 Conference Championship game, and they did lose on a 12-man on the field call because they were just killing themselves with penalties at the end of the game. And
again?
Auburn beat them. Auburn was just a better football team.
Mac Jones threw 5 touchdowns, 3 to his own team, 2 to the other team.
Yeah.
I was like, who's Alabama's quarterback now?
Well, 2 was hurt, so now it's Mac Jones.
Jones.
He had a good game, but they lost because of the 2 pick sixes.
That'll do it.
One of them was at the goal line too. Took
99 yards. I think there's 2 99-yard, one for Auburn and one for
Bama.
Yeah.
Bam.
It was a wild game. There's a lot of big plays.
That was an awesome game.
But it's fun to watch. But so with it being title week, we went through the 5 games for the Power 5, and we decided scores for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it just like our normal pick-em, but this is for college football instead of NFL.
Okay, so first we got Utah versus Oregon. I think this is going to be a good matchup, actually. Some people would just look at it and be like, oh, it's going to be Utah. Or, it's definitely going to be Oregon. But I could see it going either way. I have it being 48-31 Utah, just because I think that Utah will just have a better offensive game than Oregon will.
I have Oregon winning. I think it's going to be a shootout again. I think it's going to be 54-45 Oregon.
Yeah, I'll go next. It's going to be a really good game. Utah's playoff chances are on the line. Like, Utah wins this game, they're probably going to make the college football playoff. So Utah's going to be extremely motivated. But I do think Oregon is a better football team. They just don't have the better record. I think with Justin Herbert there, he's going to want to show out to win the conference championship. I think Oregon's defense is slightly better than Utah's, and I think they'll make just enough stops to prevent and spoil Utah's playoff party. I think Oregon's going to win, led by Justin Herbert, 34-30. Ducks win the Pac-12 and get to the Rose Bowl.
I have literally 1 point difference on each of the scores for that. I have Oregon winning 35-31.
It's going to be a good game, though.
See, I have
2 really good offenses.
I have a 1 point difference on Oregon's score. I have Oregon winning 36-27.
Well,
Wow.
Well, Duncan was the only one that picked Utah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game, though.
Hoping.
next one we got is Baylor versus Oklahoma. I'll start off this one. Not going to lie, the only reason I really picked Oklahoma in this game is because of Adrian Peterson.
Nice.
He was a Sooner. So,
Wow.
yeah, I picked Oklahoma to win 38-21.
I mean, last time these two teams met, Baylor blew a 28-3 lead. That is no joke. So these are easily the two best teams in the Big 12. I mean, it's going to be pretty much what you got the first time. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be high score. I mean, well, last time it took a second half surge by Oklahoma, but I think it's going to be close for a half, I think. But I do think Oklahoma is going to flex their muscle. They usually play really well in the Big 12 championship game, and they're also going to be fighting for their playoff lives. I just don't think Baylor's going to have what it takes to keep up with them 2 games in a row. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good game and try and make his last case for the Heisman Trophy, which I don't think he'll win. But I do think Oklahoma is going to beat them 42-24, and they'll win the Big 12 and potentially get into the playoffs, depending on what else happens.
I have Oklahoma winning 37-17, kind of for very similar reasons as Noah just said.
I have Oklahoma also winning. I think they're just the better team. 39-21.
Brendan, how do you spell Oklahoma? Did you see how Brendan spelled Oklahoma?
Yeah, I spelled
I didn't spell it.
But I have it being 41-34 Sooners. I just think that they're the better football team overall. And when I looked at it to begin with, without even having to think about it, I was like, it's definitely going to be Oklahoma winning.
Yeah.
I just see them going further than Baylor's able to do. So
The next game we got here, wait, everybody said theirs, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the scores, yeah.
All right, the next game we got here is Georgia versus LSU. To start it off, this is going to be a real barn burner here, but go Joe Burrow and the Tigers, 37-36.
We got a good old Southern brawl right here, Georgia, Louisiana. I got LSU winning 41-38, close game.
All right. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
It's an easy thing. I was looking at this game, and it's so easy for me to put out a high-scoring game. But I do think when it comes to the SEC and in this situation, I think both teams have capable defenses. I do think that this is going to be the first big test, or I guess this is going to be the real spotlight for both teams. I mean, both teams are going to be, obviously if LSU wins, they'll probably lock up the 1 seed. If Georgia loses, they're out of the playoff as they sit at, we'll see the playoff rankings tomorrow, but as of last week, they sat at 4. I think Joe Burrow is going to put the final stamp on his Heisman case. I do think that Georgia's defense is going to put pressure on Joe Burrow from what basically that's been the only way you can at least slow down Joe Burrow, so expect him to do that. Georgia has some good pass rushers. Georgia's not going to back down, though. They still have one of the top rushing attacks in college football they had the last 5 years. But I do think LSU is the better football team, and I think this is just sometimes you just know when a team it's their year, and I think it's LSU's year. So 27-23 LSU wins the SEC.
I agree 100% with Noah. When I just feel like you feel something when it's going to be somebody's year, and
It's
this whole year I've kind of just felt it being LSU,
right.
and so for that reason I have LSU 46-32. I don't think there's a chance Georgia has of winning it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I just sometimes LSU went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do that in itself, and you don't just have a year that you have just to lose in the conference championship. They're a team on a mission this year. Did everyone make their picks for?
Sorry. I'll just say mine real quick. I have LSU winning 45-31.
Wow.
Nice.
All right. Next up, we got UVA versus Clemson. Wow.
I don't know if this is much of a question.
This is not going to be a good game at all.
Clemson's going to score a lot of points here.
Yeah,
I guess.
Not.
If you like one-sided football games, this is definitely going to be the game for you. I have UVA actually scoring a couple points, I guess. I have it 45-28, but I think most of those points are just going to come in the second half. It doesn't matter.
I have a very similar score with UV getting some garbage time points. I have 48-23.
See, I have it. I have UVA just kind of being absolutely slaughtered. I have Clemson winning 48-7.
You have a Ben score there. So that's where
this is like a Ben against the Patriots.
Yeah,
I could honestly I could see that score at. I don't know
Clemson,
if that.
Clemson is just Clemson makes it to the finals every year. There's a reason for this. They just have such a good foundation.
I got Clemson winning 38-20.
A little closer game.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't. Clemson, well, first off, the ACC is a dumpster fire, and Clemson is above and beyond all that dumpster fire. Fun little fact, Trevor Lawrence hasn't turned the ball over in 7 straight games after he had 4 interceptions in the first 3. So he has been on a tear, and no one's really talking about it, and that's why Clemson's my pick to win the national championship.
Oh.
I know, yeah, little snippet there. We'll get to that, I'm sure, when the playoff roll around. But Clemson's obviously the better football team. This isn't going to be close. 45-17. Clemson gets a fat dub.
This next one, Wisconsin beat Minnesota last week in quite a game. But
that crushed Minnesota's chance to win.
That did crush the chance. But I think the more noteworthy victory was Ohio beating Michigan and the way that did it. And so Ohio is facing Wisconsin. Yeah. I think it's going to be 52-36. Ohio, it's not really much of a discussion there as to who's going to win.
That's pretty much it. The Big Ten's good, but Ohio State is above and beyond anything else. People are saying this Ohio State team could be one of the best college football's ever seen if they run the table and win the national title. I don't even think Wisconsin's that great of a football team. So, obviously they beat Minnesota, but I didn't even think Minnesota would have had a chance against Ohio State, so I'm certainly not giving Wisconsin a chance. 54-24, Ohio State gets the win.
I also have Ohio State beating up Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin gets one touchdown right away and one garbage time touchdown, but Ohio wins 35-14.
Yeah.
See, some of my bias is going to show here because
No pick Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's my college football team.
Why?
What?
Yeah.
I've never even heard. First, I've never even heard you say you like college football, let alone Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin was my jam back in the day when they made the NCAA football games.
When they made the the video games.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Way to
But-
see the team there.
I still have
Yes.
Ohio kind of spanking them 38-24, just not as much as the rest of.
Yeah, that's being
minus-
way too
minus
generous to Wisconsin.
What? Minus Ben, have you be close to?
I have almost a Cinderella story on mine, actually. If the Georgia LSU game is a barn burner, this one's a corn crop fire that tears down half the small town.
But it is a Midwestern game, so cornfields burn.
Like I said, I almost had a Cinderella story. Not quite, though. I got Ohio State University
Ohio State.
winning 52-45 on a stopped comeback.
Dang, you're really giving them a chance there.
You are giving Wisconsin a good chance. Interesting.
Almost Cinderella.
It's interesting.
Well,
It's gonna be fun.
this is gonna be a fun weekend. Most of these games are on Saturday, so
Yeah, I think the only one that's not. I think I'm not looking at the thing, but isn't the Pac-12 championship on Friday? Isn't it?
yeah,
Okay.
that one will be called by Patrick McAfee. So if you're gonna watch
Is it
any
actually?
of them, watch that
Shout out
one.
to Pac McAfee.
It's the only one we care about.
True.
So I'm excited to see what happens here because this really does set up for the playoffs.
Yeah, this is it. Pretty much playoff hopes are on the line. I mean, pretty much it's basically going to be vying for that 4 spot because I do think like if Ohio State, Clemson, LSU lose, I do think they're still in the playoff.
Yeah,
But it's like if Georgia loses, they're out. If Utah loses, they're out. Then all of a sudden, if Oklahoma wins, those 2 teams lose. Oklahoma could get in after
right.
they were the 12th ranked team in the country just a few weeks ago, and all of a sudden they find themselves with a chance to make the playoff. Like it's gonna be very interesting where everything transpires. But for the first time, we are not gonna have Alabama, so that is good.
That is amazing.
That is good stuff.
If Tua wasn't hurt,
If Tua wasn't hurt, well, first off, if Tua wasn't hurt, they'd win that game against Auburn. Then yeah, they'd be a playoff team easily.
Tua's younger brother's actually the third string quarterback.
He's
I want to say.
You know, he's a beast. I heard he's better.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to be better than Tua is.
Is he really?
That's what I heard.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
I look forward to him. Maybe he'll play in the game a little bit if it gets a big enough score.
True. I mean, that's what happened to Tua Tagovailoa. Alabama was down by a lot against Georgia. This guy named Tua came in and he like literally just tore it up and won a national championship for Bama.
You never know. Could happen again. But what happens to good college players is they go to the NFL, and so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, right.
So
the NFL?
yeah,
Then
We're
you
all
already
of
in
us.
the- We
I know,
have joining team contracts.
first we're gonna visit the Bears and the Lions. Nobody's gonna stop at these teams. But
I didn't even watch the game.
Mitch Trubisky, man, I watched the whole game. I was so excited with Mitch Trubisky. He had the game of his career. Let me tell you, like I told you last week, Mitch Trubisky is a great football player, as shown below.
No, let's pump the brakes. He had one good game against the Lions.
Well, I watched a little bit of the very first quarter, and I was checking into about halftime. Like I don't even care. And I turned it off and went into mine.
It's funny because this was literally a Detroit Lions game. You can tell because they couldn't close out the goddamn game. They were up by like 2.5 scores.
They were.
And they choked it. And then they couldn't come back to win it. Like, it was such a Detroit Lions game. I mean, they just,
Yeah.
for some reason, they look like a good team for the first, like, quarter and a half.
They
and then-
always do. Like, really beginning of the year, they're like, are the Lions good? I'm like, no. The Lions always look good, and they're bad.
Yeah.
The Lions are bad.
They choke so bad.
Lions are a trap. Lions are always going to be bad. It is a trap.
No, I agree.
Lions fans are traps. I watched the second Thanksgiving game. A little bit of the second Thanksgiving game.
I did too. I watched most of the game. It was
It was tight for the first, like, quarter.
It was
Like,
a
it was.
I didn't really watch
disappointing
the second
game, I
half.
want to say.
I don't know. I thought it was. I watched the second half and I kind of liked it.
I was expecting a lot more from the Cowboys
Yeah.
there.
Wow. I think this just I think this just continues to address the one problem in Dallas, and it's just coaching.
Jason Garrett
Jason Garrett
and company.
and Jason Garrett and co. Yes, because I mean, if you look at like purely the stat line, you would have thought Dallas would have won the game because they had more passing yards, more rushing yards, more first downs,
Right.
more trips in the red zone. You would have thought Dallas would have won this football game, but it just didn't turn out that way. And then you watch, like, because I'm going to be honest, I was at work because obviously I work in retail, but I did watch the highlights though, and it seemed to me there was just questionable play calling in the red zone,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
which has been the issue all year. And obviously, when Bill Maher misses 2 kicks, that doesn't help the cause either. And yet, they still might win this division, even though
Somehow.
because Philly is there's something else, man. They're
But-
bad.
Well, that also changes the narrative of Jason Garrett. Like, how he can't win in a division where you can make the playoffs at like 8-8.
Right.
Like, that's
Well,
ridiculous.
and that's just it, and that's why this literally just continues to justify Jason Garrett being gone.
Yeah.
Like Dak didn't play great. But I don't think he played terrible. I didn't think Zeke played all that great. I mean, they only gave him 12 carries, but when you're down by multiple scores, you got to throw the football, you know. And I don't know what's up with this Dallas defense. I think they need to fire their defensive coordinator too, because this defense is just not performing at the level that they can be. Look at the talent on that team. There's no reason the defense shouldn't keep them in football games.
Yeah, the Bills' defense is pretty good though. Like,
Yeah.
Bills are 9-3, guys. Like they now are in a position to win the AFC East. Like you guys, if the Bills would have beaten New England that one matchup, Buffalo would be first place in the AFC East right now.
We talked about this
Yeah.
before the season started. We talked about it's either going to be the Jets or the Bills. We're going to threaten for that division.
The question is though, would the Bills be first in the AFC then?
No, it was going to be the Ravens.
It would still be the
it would be.
Ravens?
Yeah, it would
It'd
be.
be
It
Baltimore.
would be the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think they'd be number 2, though.
Yeah, they would be number
They
2.
would.
Well, they would flip flop with New England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And honestly, like Buffalo's a wild card team. I would not want to play Buffalo as a wild card team.
No.
Like if I saw that on my schedule, I would be like, okay, this is like if they have to play like Houston, I would be really tempted to pick Buffalo to win that football game.
Oh, I would
Maybe-
That'd be a good game.
That'd be a really good game. I think that'd be an insanely
This
good game.
game kind of showed the emergence of Josh Allen. Like,
Yeah,
he's having a
Josh
sneaky-
Allen's good.
He's having a sneaky, really good season.
Yeah,
People
no,
don't
I'm
talk
on board
about
that Josh Allen's a good quarterback.
Is he
He's
still
gonna be
leading
good.
the league in rushing touchdowns? Josh
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, because he had one in the Dallas game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not putting up like the Lamar Jackson or Mahomes numbers, but I mean, like,
But you know he's oh sorry, you go.
oh no, he's been like a good quarterback.
Yeah,
Like, he's
He
been
led the
good
Bills
for
to
his-
9-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought last year the Bills were going to be 9-3?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's just it. Like the Bills already have one of the best defenses in football, as it was clearly shown
Yeah.
again against Dallas. All you need to do is you need to have a serviceable quarterback that's just going to put you in a position. That's what he does. Like that's what you need.
Did you guys see that Frank Gore is now has the third most rushing yards in athletics?
Yo.
Yeah.
Do you know
Who did he pass? Walter Payton? Or
Yes.
No, he passed Emmitt Smith.
Oh yeah.
No,
no.
it's his number one. He passed Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
That's pretty good company to beat.
I was like,
He's behind
blue.
only behind only Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
And I think he's like I don't know how many yards he is away.
He's still like 1,200, I think, from second, because he's 3,300 from first.
I mean, he's never really been hurt, so if he just
Frank
decides I'm
Gore's
just
just
gonna
gonna keep playing.
He is 14-26 behind Walter Payton.
He said he wants to play until he breaks the record.
which I mean he
He could. easily.
But the problem
He needs
becomes
2,000 more
is
yards.
what team wants to keep a 38-year-old.
I don't see why the
running back?
Bills
The
just don't
Bills.
keep him.
Bills.
They're,
Or
Because look at Singletary.
the Ravens.
Singletary's having a good season.
yeah, but I think they complement each other well. You don't need to
I mean,
pay
that's-
Frank Gore unless you're not paying Singletary. Why do they keep them both?
The league is kind of starting to turn into a tandem running back league.
Oh, definitely.
Because you look at like San Fran is probably the biggest example with that, where you have Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida both out there, and then Raheem Mostert also tearing it up. The
But-
Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
After this year, we could have 2 active running backs in the top 5 because Aiden Peterson is only 150 yards from Curtis Martin.
Wow.
It'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. I do think though, like if Frank Gore need to be like a starter, because like you can't take like if you're like the second option, you're only getting like 10, 15 carries a game. I don't know if that's going to put you in a position to break the record, but I could be wrong.
Well, but he'll just keep playing until he's 50, and he'll get there.
Fun
He's never been hurt.
Fun fact about Frank Gore, actually, in his, I think this is his 15th or 16th season,
Yeah.
he's never once led the league in rushing yards, and yet he's third all time.
Yeah, that's just so crazy. Like, no one
And I
ever
think they said he's only had 10 or more rushing touchdowns in one season.
Yeah. I mean, but he's a Hall of Famer, though, right?
Yeah.
He's got to be.
But yeah,
Frank
and so
Gore's probably the most underrated running back of
I think
NFL.
that's what
I
Noah's
would agree.
getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt him, but yeah.
Oh, no, yeah,
Those are
I
cool
agree.
stats that I
You know
found.
what's kind of weird though? It is an interesting little stat. 7 of the top 10 running backs rushing all time played 10 or less seasons in the NFL.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. well, 'cause-
Walter Payton played. Not Walter Payton. Barry Sanders played 9.
Jim
Chris
Brown.
Martin's played 10. Damon Thomason played 10. Jerome Bettis played. No, I guess he played 12 too. So it was actually 6 because Jerome Bettis played 12. Eric Dickerson played 10. Tony Dorsett played 11. Jim Brown played 10.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's.
Well, while you're talking about old people, there's young people tournament. 2 on the Bills. Ed Oliver actually had a monster game
Ed
against.
Oliver's
Cowboys.
draft by Buffalo.
I think that he's trying to make a case for defensive rookie of the year. I don't think he's gonna get it just because.
Because you have a guy named Nick Bosa who's an
But-
animal.
I mean, he put up 2 sacks and a forced fumble
Against a really good
against Dallas
Really
offensive
good
line.
ass offensive line.
Although Connor Williams was out for that. He's not for me, but still, that's a really good offense.
So I just think it's cool he's playing, and it's not just like things you see on the stat line either. It's like the way he plays
Yeah.
to let other people get to.
Exactly, like the stuff that you can't see on paper.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, like everyone like, oh, he's not. It's the same thing like Aaron Donalds. Aaron Donalds, in terms of numbers, isn't putting up the numbers but he's getting like double and triple teamed every single play. And that's kind of the same thing with Ed Oliver, like it's creating like QB pressures and allowing, or if someone's getting double teamed, he's really good on one-on-one. And he's just a beast. Really good draft by Buffalo. And I called it too, and I was like, it's gonna be one of the really good players in this draft, and he dropped because of an injury. So
And plus, you got someone named John Gruden running the Oakland Raiders.
true, because of that, yeah. Because Clelin Ferrell has had like 1 or 2 good games. He has not been very good.
Well, they drafted him really high.
They drafted him extremely high.
They're talking about him being like a. Yeah, they talk about him being like a late round first, and then then they're like, oh yeah, Oakland, 3rd pick, here you go,
Yeah.
4th pick. Here you go.
While you have Josh Allen and like Ed Oliver still and like guy from New York, Quentin Williams,
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's not having he's doing he's fine. He's not doing great. He's funny though. He's a funny dude. When he sneezed and blessed himself. And thanked himself.
yeah. Well, that's what you have to do at that point. Another Thanksgiving game was the Saints Falcons. I wasn't really surprised by that, I guess.
No. I put it as a close game because Atlanta was playing some good ball up to that point. But I mean, Taysom Hill's kind of fun to watch. Like,
Yeah,
Taysom Hill's
yeah.
a beast.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to take some look at that Russian dress.
I really
Yeah.
want a Taysom Hill color rush jersey. Ever since I saw somebody have one, I want one now.
Buy one.
Buy one.
I can't do it right now because we have podcast expenses.
Buy one.
$15 for a month.
And then $20 in like a couple months.
Buy one.
Whoa! Whoa!
That's like one meal.
That's $35 I have to spend.
That's like
That's
2.5 meals
You
you
know,
have to eat.
this
Maybe
last
we'll talk about-
Saints game, though, one interesting thing that I'm starting to notice is it's starting to look like Drew Brees is starting to regress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Like,
No, they're not talking about a couple people regressing this year. They're
Yeah,
just
it's-
avoiding it.
Tom Brady's regressing. Drew
Tom
Brees is
Brady's not
regressing.
regressing. His offense
Okay,
isn't
we'll get to
performing.
Tom Brady
we
in a
have a
minute.
stat that literally proves
That he's
regressed.
regressing.
Like,
He's regressing.
Well, the stats that you put also could just be because the offense is not
Hey, hey,
supporting
hey.
him.
He's regressing.
We have more statistics here. We'll get to
I
it in a
read
moment.
that.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
All right, but back to the Saints game.
Yeah, it's showing Drew Brees is just. I mean, obviously, I think he signed a 1 year plus a player option, So this
Mhm.
probably will be his last year.
I mean-
At least I think.
He's not having that bad of a year. His passer rating for the year is still 104.
Oh yeah, definitely not bad. It's just like
But that's
for Drew Brees, a guy that puts up close to 5,000 yards every year for the past 7 8
even though he
years.
was hurt for 5
Yeah.
games though, but even still. But that I think also just shows how really, really good the Saints are the best team in the NFC. I'm now back on that hype train because the Saints are just good everywhere. Like they're just so just deep defensively, offensively. They have probably the best receiver in the league this year,
Oh,
Michael
definitely.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Like he's probably the only receiver that would ever be in an MVP race this year. I mean, no one's really talking about it, but I think he can, maybe.
Duncan and I talked about this. I don't think when we were recording, but
No, yeah, we think.
Yeah.
we said if a wide receiver could do it, it would be this year because he's shown he can do it with any. Because he did it with Teddy and he did it with Breeze.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not the quarterback putting up his stats; it's
Right.
him putting.
It's Michael
them up.
Thomas being
Yeah.
a freaking animal. And I think he's a top 5 receiver. Honestly, after this year, you could even say he's a top 3 receiver. And
I think he's the number one.
I think he's
receiver.
the number one. I mean, he was. I don't
But
know
he
if he's-
didn't throw a touchdown pass
That is
last
true.
night like DeAndre Hopkins did.
that's why I go
He
by
wasn't
the-
asked to. Who knows? He can't.
But,
can't.
yeah,
Why
Michael
would he when you have
Thomas.
Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Brees?
I don't think they counted that towards my fix. I have DeAndre Hopkins in one of my fantasy.
Yeah,
teams.
they didn't count it towards mine. I was so
I was
mad.
really upset because I was like, "Is that like because we do a PPR?" So I'm just like,
Yeah, I was like, come on.
go give me my
So-
points. Give me my points."
Yeah. But I didn't get him either.
Damn.
But a second straight week in a row where it's kind of weird with some of the wins.
Yeah.
After the Thanksgiving games.
Ooh,
With
yeah,
the
it was a
Bengals,
wow.
Redskins, and the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Who the Bengals win over?
the Jets. The Jets are
Yeah.
the only team in the NFL history to give teams that are 0-7 or worse their first loss to multiple teams.
Yeah, because the Bills were 0-10 going in the game, weren't they? Or 0-11?
The Bengals were 0-11.
Yeah.
0-11.
Yeah.
And obviously they gave the Dolphins their first win. And Miami is what, 3-4 wins now?
Yeah.
4, yeah. I think
Wow.
Miami's at 4,
Surging.
right?
We were
who
joking
would've-
that they were the.
Who would have thought that, like, with the way Miami started, that the Giants would be eliminated first before the Dolphins? Because technically the Dolphins are still in the play. Like, they're not
Right.
automatically eliminated, but
Because the Bengals are the worst. Giants only have 2 wins, though. Don't they?
Giants only have 2 wins. So now that, number 1 pick spot is, again, really wide open.
Yeah.
Because you have the Bills who have a loss, you have the
Dude,
Giants who have a
At
loss.
the beginning of the year, I said the Giants
Not
are
the
going to
Bills,
be
Bengals.
the worst team in the
What is it?
NFL.
You said the
And he
Bills.
goes, no, the
Bills are-
Dolphins,
Oh,
the Giants
no,
are going
Bills
to
are
be
good.
the worst
I
team.
didn't say Bengals.
I can say, I think it's really cool to see the Redskins get a win with Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, it was fun.
I wasn't expecting it necessarily.
Carolina's hitting their D. Carolina always seems that they'll start off hot and then it happened last year too.
Yeah.
They start off really hot and then just hit a wall
Mhm.
and that's what they're doing. Now they suck now.
Well, now obviously I can't clarify who these rumors come from. From what I saw on Twitter, there's actually talks that they're actually going to move on from Kyle Allen in the
I
offseason
saw that
and
too.
redo their whole quarterback position. Like, it's actually just drafted Will Greer. Obviously, there was rumors that Colin Kaepernick had some talks with the Panthers.
Do you think they keep on Cam Newton at all?
No.
I think they just move on from him and Kyle Allen and just start fresh.
I really think the Panthers just need to just wipe the slate when it comes to because they're pretty solid everywhere else.
Yeah.
They're serviceable. Now you just gotta give them a quarterback. I mean, obviously Chris McCaffrey's really good. Their defense isn't great, but not bad.
I think both. I think it's interesting because the Patriots dropped both of them. Both those people will go somewhere and get jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Cam Newton. Cam Newton's can go for sure, but I think Kyle Allen can also get a job.
Oh, probably. He's probably like an A.J. McCarron from with the Bengals from like 4 years ago, where he'll go somewhere and compete for the job and then somehow end up their starter.
I think Jeffy D might get talks of trade rumors to the Panthers.
Who's that?
Jeff Driscoll.
And he could just
Jeff
put on the
Driscoll.
IR.
Who?
Well, they can't trade right now anyway.
No, but what I mean, he just got put on IR. He was the one who got put on
Jeff
IR.
Driscoll is a
He's not
he's
not
the-
on IR. I don't think.
Jeff Driscoll is going to forever be a career backup.
Well, because the Lions signed Kyle Slaughter.
Oh, maybe he did then.
So I think Jeff Driscoll got put on IR.
But again, it doesn't matter because Jeff Driscoll is going to be a C+ backup for his whole career, and that'll be fine because Nick Foles is probably going to make the Hall of Fame because of being a backup quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Why do you have to just hate on me liking
The
backup
Broncos.
quarterbacks?
The Broncos won by a
Backup
last
quarterbacks.
second field goal. I think this solidifies.
Was it a feel good moment for like the 4th game losing field goals you had against you?
Oh, it was so good. But I think this kind of solidifies that Phillip Rivers is done in. I was gonna say San Diego, done with the Chargers.
Yeah, no, it's time to move on. It's
Tyrod time.
Yeah, it really is.
Maybe.
Tyrod time.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's the number 2 in.
No, Phillip Rivers is starting.
No. Next season though.
Oh, next
No,
season.
I actually
you
heard
draft
the Chargers
quarterback.
are
No,
seriously
you go
considering
Tyrod.
benching.
You go with Tyrod, you're going to be
Rivers.
about where you're at this year.
They were talking about benching Rivers against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll trade for Jeff Drexel.
They said they
No,
wanted like
because the
maybe
Broncos,
Chargers will
they
trade
have the
to get a
best
really
chance
good,
to beat him.
quarterback.
Maybe
That's-
they'll
I-
sign Kyle Allen.
Honestly, I
they're
think the
gonna-
Chargers should trade up and get somebody really good that's really young.
They should.
Because they have an okay team around it. I mean, their running backs are
Literally,
good. Keenan Allen's a good wide receiver. The defense has good pieces on it. They haven't drafted. If they even up got somebody like Trevor Lawrence or somebody who could be one of the first couple picks. Imagine Trevor Lawrence on the Chargers.
So
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is not eligible this
I
year.
was gonna say.
But Tua could go there. Justin Herbert could go there.
who might not be able to have a career though.
Yes, he
because
will.
of his hip injury.
No, they said he'll be fine. Like he'll play in the NFL. Like he'll be fine.
But will that hurt his stock?
Yes. And
That'd
that's
even be even better for the
and that'd
Chargers.
be better for the Chargers because then they'll just fall right in his lap and he's going to adopt a great defense, great coaching. Hopefully they beef up their offensive line in the offseason. That would definitely help. Honestly, Tua could drop to the Carolina Panthers, and that would be the perfect situation for him. Tua just needs to go to, and I feel like this for all rookie quarterbacks, Tua needs to go to a place where he's not going to be like, that needs to be a hero. First off, he has a bum hip now. So if he went to teams like the Bengals or like the
Day one starter.
Dolphins, it would just be a disaster. But if he goes to teams like the Colts, the Panthers, the Chargers, his stock's going to drop now because of this. And I think that's the best thing for Tua. He doesn't realize it now. And it was like, oh, he's missing out on more money. Well, that's fine because in the NFL, you're not going to make your most money on your rookie contract. And if you are, I'm going to break it to you, you're probably not in the league anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But another game, a game that wasn't on TVs here in Sioux Falls, thanks to
Yeah, Fox decided to play Green
Fox.
Bay versus the Giants.
And I was happy about that.
I was
Why?
really upset.
Okay, like
So
high key though,
upset.
like I know you're a Packers fan, Ben, but wouldn't you have much rather watched the potential Super Bowl matchup?
Yeah.
My point
It
exactly.
was nice to watch a Packers game. Sit down and watch.
well, you knew they were going to do that because they're local. Like, they're local.
Well,
You knew
they
they were
always
gonna
do that. They always play the Vikings or the Packers game.
I mean, I don't know. I saw the highlights. It seemed like it was it was bad weather, so I think it was really
Yeah.
hard to judge. Like, oh, this is the Super Bowl matchup because I think we
Right.
didn't get the best of both teams.
It was, like,
because of the
rainy and
weather.
everything.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
question for y'all though.
Yeah.
What?
Who's better career wise, not this year, career wise? Well, no, I can't say that way. Who is better talent wise within their career? So not like based off a championship.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker or Adam Vinatieri?
Wait, okay, so just to make sure,
Yeah.
you're talking not their career, like who's better in their career? Because obviously it's
So
not
so
gonna
like
take by a
skill
lot.
wise.
Skill-wise,
It's
Justin
Justin
Tucker.
Tucker.
He's the
Yeah.
most accurate
This-
kicker the league has ever seen and
This
ever
is
will
this is
see.
actually interesting. So today they released the they're doing the NFL's doing the 100
Yeah.
all time, and they did finalists, and Adam Vinatieri won it. And this is what they put Ryan Vinatieri's thing: won 4 Super Bowl titles in 5 appearances, winning field goals for 2 games, Super Bowls to the Patriots, NFL records in regular season and playoffs, most career points, most field goal makes, only kicker in NFL history to score 1,000 points with 2 different teams, set an NFL record with 44 straight field goal made in 2015, 2016. 3-time Pro Bowl, first-time All-Pro, named to the All-Decade Team 2000, signed with the Patriots as an undrafted free agent after becoming the all-time leading scorer in South Dakota State history since being born in 1972 in Yankton, South Dakota.
So yeah, I guess because obviously in a career nobody's gonna
Career-wise.
touch Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri is like he's arguably the greatest player of all time.
He's the leading scorer in NFL history.
Yeah, exactly. But like as a pure kicker, I would take Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker's not the most accurate kicker in NFL.
But he's got, but like
He's
his mix up.
91%.
I'm pretty sure the most active kicker in NFL history is Dan Bailey.
No, he's like the.
No,
Dan
he
Bailey's
dropped
like
off because he missed a bunch of his past couple of years. It was a
Probably like
statistic
Gary
that they
Anderson
said
or
at
something
the
like that.
during
Gary,
highlights
like
of
Morgan
the.
Anderson, something like that. Might be one of the Andersons.
Well, like there was a time where like Justin Tucker, like he was just above everybody else from like 2015 to like 2018. Like nobody could touch him.
Well, Adam Vinatieri still could until this year.
But in terms of like distance, because Adam Vinatieri obviously lost his distance because he's getting old. Like
Well, yeah, I mean,
can't
Adam
expect that.
Vinatieri's like
Justin
a couple
Tucker
years
is
away
the
from
most
50.
accurate kicker in NFL history at a 90% field goal
That's
conversion rate.
insane.
Yeah.
Second is Josh Lambo. 25.
And third is Steven Gostkowski.
Interesting.
Yeah, Adam
So-
Vinatieri is not even in the top 10. Adam Vinatieri is 23rd.
Dang.
But obviously because he's getting old. Like he's
Yeah.
47 years old.
He's played for a long time.
He's played it. Yeah, when he plays in 2020, he'll technically have played for
Three different decades.
three different decades.
That's crazy.
We're gonna take a pause real quick, and when we come back, we're gonna listen to the Patriots and how Brendan thinks they're not bad anymore. Welcome back. So the Patriots lost last night.
Yeah,
And, in a very nice loss to the Houston Texans, many of which were sick, as Brendan says, but they still played. And if they were really that sick, would they have played?
So the whole thing with that I was mentioning is earlier in the week, pretty much a lot of the 70% of the team got hit with the flu.
Not 70%. There were
Not
14
70.
players.
14 players. That's like 70% of the starters.
They weren't all the starters.
I don't care.
I will say that Patriots game, they honestly could have won on that onside kick.
Yeah.
If the dude would have grabbed the ball.
So
Right.
no. The thing is because of where it was at, it was here. If Brandon Bolin was like an inch or two taller, he would have had it.
Well, that's the thing is
So
like
he had to jump for it.
it would have been a hard play, but in my eyes, he could have had a chance to get.
He put in his effort. I will be honest. The Patriots could not make the Super Bowl this year, and I wouldn't bat an eye. I don't think that this is the end of Tom Brady. I don't think this is.
It's not the end. It's the demise. It's the
No.
start.
It's the falling.
No.
And this is
No.
like
It's a twilight.
yeah. He's not all the way off the cliff, but he's slowly working his way down.
I think what's going to happen these next few weeks is we're going to see if the Patriots offense can gain pace again. So far, they cannot. So far, they were playing against bad teams when they had good players, and then they had to move on from their good players from one reason or another, like Antonio Brown.
Or Josh Gordon for no
Or-
reason at
Or
all.
Demarius Thomas.
For no reason at all.
Demaryius Thomas is a regret now because we don't have Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. But back then, when you had Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, Jacoby Myers, who is still actually...
Kobe Myers, I knew he was going to bring him up. He had a decent game.
He actually did. And
He had like 2 catches.
I think that Sony Michel is not our running back of the future. I think we need to try to shift it back over more to James White, Rex Burkhead. We need a tight end. That's just a realistic thing. So Kyle Rudolph might be in trade rumors again.
Hey,
might end up on the
Get rid
Patriots.
of him.
We also need Gostkowski back a lot. Patriots just cut Kai Forbath again, or they just cut their kicker again. I'm gonna be the last to see because I'm assuming it's dissing Tom Brady.
Yeah, we're getting to it.
Oh yeah, it's the Mitch.
Ladies and
Trubisky,
gentlemen,
Tom
Mr.
Brady.
Trubisky has a better completion percentage than Tom Brady. And if anybody
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, but still,
Okay.
I'm just gonna go on and say, for those who listen to the podcast, they know I'm not a Mr. Trubisky guy. The fact that Tom Brady has a lower completion average than
Yeah.
Mr. Trubisky, and you mean to tell me he's not regressing this year?
And actually,
Nice try.
since week 4, Trubisky has a higher completion percentage, higher passer rating, a higher yards per attempt, one less touchdown, and one less pick.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tom Brady has had 7 or 8 straight games where his pass rating isn't over 100.
Yeah, seven straight.
Hey. Just shut up for a second. I will admit Tom Brady is regressing if in the playoffs Tom Brady is playing just as shit as he's playing in the regular season. Because if he plays like this in the playoffs, oh shit, just just fire him. I don't give a shit at this point. Jarrett Stidham
Wait,
will
he's
throw
in
more
the-
It's not your
touchdowns.
future.
Jarrett Stidham will throw more touchdowns in general because whether they're for us or against us, there will be more touchdowns.
I had
We're playing bingo this game, trying to pick.
and the Texans game, I had all predictions. I had 3 picks. I said the Texans are going to win. Texans are going to pick Tom Brady, and Deshaun Watson gets 100 rushing yards. He didn't, but I got 2 of the 3 right.
Deshaun Watson had a
Watson's-
passing touchdown, though. A receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson's too afraid to run since his
No,
injury.
he's just not.
He's ran a couple times.
He's not the runner that like
Yeah, but
if he
Deshaun
wouldn't have gotten
Watson was
injured.
never a run-first quarterback. He was more, I'm going to use my legs to keep the play alive.
The first four games he played in, way back in his rookie season, he was a run first quarterback.
Not by choice.
Yeah, not by choice, because his offensive line is still not very good. But at Clemson, like they weren't just, it wasn't like Lamar Jackson or, like they were just like, okay, we have they never had specific running plays for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's just an elusive guy who keeps the play alive with his legs. And like I said, in his first few games at the Texans, which is the reason he got hurt, the Texans' offensive line was awful. Purely awful. And they're still not great.
But I think that I think we need David Andrews back for the Patriots. His blood clots that were potentially life-threatening early on in the season. Literally what kind of happened in that second half there is we switched out the center and we all of a sudden could actually gain yards, which was interesting. But I think there's a lot of things that need to be addressed on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that the defensive side of the ball was getting a little cocky there. The past few weeks, they've kind of been getting hit with the humbleness because they got dicked on by the Ravens a couple weeks ago, and they got dicked on by the Texans in the first
We've
three
been
quarters.
telling you all year
I still think the Patriots defense
is not
is very
that
strong,
fantastic.
but they're still very strong.
Right, we'll
They're
say they're
still-
above average. They're not
They're still top 5.
godly all time.
No, yeah, they're still a good defense. Like when everyone was hyping out to be a top 5 defense all time, I'm like, let's pump the brakes to everyone. They played the Dolphins, Redskins, and the Giants. Everyone chill.
I believe back in the day, was it against the Ravens that we first brought up the Patriots defense? In quotation marks sucks because that's the way it was interpreted.
I've been talking about it all year.
Shut up, man.
I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
how's that run defense for the Packers working out?
How about the overall defense?
We held whenever Giants were.
But Saquon's kind of been having a sophomore slump.
Because his whole team is a bunch of
Yeah, he can't carry the team on his back for 2 years in a row. Are you kidding me?
My prediction at the beginning of the year was the Giants were the worst team in football, and my prediction still is they're going to end with the worst record in football.
You think the Bengals will get 2 more wins?
Yeah,
Yes.
That'd be more surprising than the Giants finishing last.
I still think the Giants are the worst team in football. Don't have me.
but I think that these games are definitive to how the Patriots defense isn't like historical. And I think it is showing that the Patriots offense needs to figure out something. But I am not going to say anything about the regression of Tom Brady. I'm not going to say anything about like the overall shittiness of the Patriots until the playoffs. Because Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are both different in the playoffs. Because every year we have this argument.
Pump your brakes there. So we go back to the archives, go back to any August episode, any July episode, any May episode, and he'll be saying, watch in December. In December, that's when they play. It was December 1st last night, and Tom Brady had one of the worst games he's had all year.
One of the worst years he's ever had.
I think he's gonna. I really do think he's gonna come back next
I
week.
do not think he's. No, I don't think so.
Here's the thing is, like, you're making it in his skin. This might come out worse than what I want to be. Like, you're making it sound like Tom Brady regressing is a bad thing, but it's not. Like, it's gonna happen at some point. It happened to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning went from MVP to having like a 2,000-yard season, like in 1 year.
He was bad his last year.
Like, I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's just it happens to all the quarterbacks.
Peyton Manning was Captain Choke, and Tom Brady's Captain Clutch.
Look, Peyton Manning went from, again, MVP. He was an MVP. Set the
Regular season, yes.
Yeah, but set the record for most points scored. And then the next year he sucked. Like, he just
That's
sucked.
2 years he
Like,
sucked.
I mean,
Yeah.
he just couldn't do anything with his team. I mean, it was universally the same team, and I mean,
Granted,
you know,
part of it was his injuries.
yeah.
But still,
yeah,
yeah.
like in the sense of regression, like Tom Brady will regress at some point. Like, it's not necessarily bad.
It's
just
the
something that's
cycle of life.
good.
Father
Yeah.
Time is undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady at some point or another, he will eventually get to the point where he sucks. Like, he just can't do it anymore. You know, this is just like we said. Like, he's not necessarily at the bottom of the hill yet. He's at that point where he's never.
Like I said, he's just starting to lean forward, and the wheels are starting to turn. Like it's just.
He's at that point where he's
slow.
probably not going to be a top 5 quarterback anymore.
That's fine.
Like, because he's just to that point where it's just not going to happen.
And it literally happens to the best of every
And
quarterback.
we would talk about Drew Brees too. Drew Brees is in literally the same boat as Brady is. Like, they just can't get it done anymore. They're too
Philip
old.
Rivers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philip Rivers, they just can't get it done.
Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, all of them, really.
Eli was iffy his whole career.
How many times did he beat the Patriots?
Like 3 times total.
How many of those times were against the Super Bowl Tom Brady's?
The undefeated Tom Brady. Actually.
Okay, Tom Brady just has a problem against the NFC. That's the East, isn't it?
Yes.
The NFC East in the Super Bowl.
The Redskins are going to win the Super Bowl.
Whoa.
The Redskins would have to make it to the playoffs and then beat all the
Oh,
other.
never mind. The
make it to the
Patriots aren't
playoffs.
even make it past the first round.
I know.
It's okay. But what do you guys want to do next? Do you guys want to go with pick'ems or you want to talk about the NBA?
I think we should pick them because we're on a flow of NFL, and then
Alright.
pick 'em's usually I think is our longest segment.
Yeah, let's do pick'ems.
Let's change it up while you're on
Yeah.
the SighSquadPod.
All right. So we got a Thursday night matchup. This is going to be 2 teams that could be much better. If you would have told me this game before the season start,
Yeah.
this would be a really good game, and I think this would be probably for number 2, number 3 seed in the NFL.
If this was a Sunday game, this would have been flexed out of prime time by this point. But
Yeah.
obviously, since it's Thursday, they're not going to flex it.
Yeah, we have it's Cowboys at Bears. The Bears and the Cowboys both have been struggling. What's the Bears' record? Anyone know off the top of their head?
I think they're 6.
Are they 6-6?
I think they're 6-6.
So are the Cowboys. The Cowboys are competing still because the Cowboys can still win the division,
Which is sad.
which is why this game is important for the Cowboys. To the Bears, this game is nothing. The Bears
It's just a higher pick.
Bears aren't going to win the division. Cowboys can.
Well, here's a quick question. What's the Bears' record right now?
6-6.
They are 6-6.
I mean, again, a long shot, but like if they win this game, all of a sudden they find themselves back in it. Like I'm going to put air quotes on back in it because obviously the Rams are 7-6, and that still to me doesn't mean anything. Or they're like 7-5. No, 7. I don't even know. I just know we're out of it. Not mathematically.
Yeah.
But the Bears might get that hope. Like, all right, we can still save our season. Let's just hope that Seattle and Minnesota just completely falter, which will not happen. But let's just hope.
One of them might tonight. You never know. It might
Well,
be
one of them's
starting
guaranteed.
downward.
One of them's guaranteed unless they finish in a draw, of
Actually,
course.
That would be amazing.
Well,
if
here's
they
the thing.
tied.
Actually, I just realized tonight actually is huge because that determines who gets the 3rd or 4th seed.
I think if Minnesota
Because
wins,
if Minnesota wins, they tie Seattle at 9-3, but then they would get the tiebreaker for the win, which would put them at the 3rd seed.
well, heck, I even think beyond that, if Minnesota wins tonight, I think they win the division because I think they beat
I
Green Bay
agree
in
with you.
Indianapolis,
The problem
and then all of a
is-
sudden they win the division.
But the problem is Green Bay's got such an easy schedule. It's hard for them
No,
to
but no,
get
that's why I'm saying the Vikings need to win today because then obviously the Vikes beat the Packers second go around, they'll be one game above. But that's why they need to win
If the
today.
Vikings lose tonight,
Then Green Bay wins the division.
Green Bay can take the division because
Yeah.
then that game won't even matter. Because if the Vikings win that game, we'll have a tied record. But
And you guys still will own the tiebreaker. And obviously, I don't see Green Bay losing. Again, I've seen crazy things happen, and if that does happen, then again, Green Bay doesn't deserve to win the division. But if Green Bay wins the games they're supposed to, which is every other game except Minnesota, then they'll win the division. Like I said, unless Minnesota and Captain Kirk keeps it going. Hopefully, he can get his Monday Night Football slump. Yeah, he won on Sunday night. Might as well try and win on Monday night.
It's one on Thursday night, too.
You know what's
True.
funny
He's
about,
totally killing the narrative.
you know what's funny about this Thursday night game?
What?
They've actually only been, both teams have only been away for 1 week come this. Because the last time they played was Thanksgiving, which was last Thursday. So for once,
sure
Thursday
they're
is not a short week.
I get what you mean there.
It's not a short week.
Yeah.
But it's still technically a full week.
Okay.
Yeah,
now I
yeah,
get
yeah.
what you mean. Sorry.
Okay.
Which I'm
Instead of
sure
going
they
from
planned
Sunday
it
to
out that
Thursday,
way.
they're going
Yeah.
from Thursday to Thursday.
Because that'd be really crappy if it was just like, all right, well.
All right. Who played Sunday? All right, Saints. You can.
All right, Saints, you got it on Thursday night.
Well,
Gotta
the
be
Saints
so
played on
crappy.
on Thursday too.
Saints. Yeah, I guess. Who played? Whoever.
Saints.
Anyways, Bears and the Cowboys. I got the Bears winning 32-12.
I don't.
Mitch Trubisky's gonna have another good game.
Stop.
I said it last week and he did. So this week he's gonna break them records again.
I have almost the exact opposite score. I think
man.
the Cowboys are the better team. I think their offense is better. I think the defense is just as good or better. I think the Cowboys win 31-14, and they are going to run to take that division.
Wait, does Mitch Trubisky throw the 2 touchdowns?
He
though?
throws one of the 2 touchdowns. That one's a
Okay.
rushing one.
Okay, that's fine.
But also by Mr. Trubisky.
No, by Singletary.
He's not even on the team.
You mean
He is.
David Montgomery? Singletary's on the
Oh,
Bills.
yeah, David Montgomery.
Oh, okay. I have him in fantasy. That's fine.
I do too.
See,
Don't
I'm gonna
Look
piggyback
up
off
for me.
of Mr. Ben here.
Oh.
Dak, as much as he wants Jason Garrett to get fired, also wants to get paid.
I think he gets paid either way, honestly.
I agree.
There's a lot of
Even if he loses,
there's a lot of
Dallas,
question that Dak is gonna try to throw games to get Jason Garrett fired.
That's totally fine, but Jerry Jones also wants Jason Garrett fired, so I think he's not going to give a rep. So in Jerry Jones' eyes, like, perfect. I'm going to pay you, and I'm going to hire a new head coach. Win-win situation.
Alright, here's a hypothetical. Is there any chance Jason Garrett keeps his job?
No, there's really a 0.
They go into the playoffs, they lead, he loses in the Super Bowl, just keep his job.
No, I still think they cut him, honestly.
at this point, I think they.
Alright.
Because I think they've made way too much noise at this point to not be like, okay.
What if he goes all the way and wins the Super Bowl?
Then thank you for your service, Jason Garrett. It is time to move on.
Alright.
I mean, we moved on from Gary Kubiak.
Exactly, yeah.
And we love him. in
Well,
Minnesota.
Yeah, Gary Kubiak
I
is
do too.
Minnesota's
Why would
winning.
you come back?
Didn't Gary Kubiak retire technically?
I guess
I think they
technically
asked him to retire.
he retired
Well,
for a year, but I think he would have,
I don't know. I guess I don't know. That's an interesting scenario,
Left
but
anyway.
again, that just won't happen. So we don't even have to worry about it.
That's
Dallas again may not. Well, Dallas probably will, just because Philadelphia has been just a fucking dumpster fire.
Next we got you guys also give.
I didn't even say
say
mine.
your score.
I did.
Okay.
Basically, okay. I'm just gonna keep it short. It's gonna be kind of an ugly game. I actually think Chicago's gonna win.
Mitch Trubisky.
I think Mr. Trubisky will be fine. He won't be great, but I just think that Dallas
Yeah,
will
that's an
continue
upgrade.
to
That's an
struggle.
upgrade. I think that's a great upgrade.
Yeah,
Bought a new believer.
well, no, I'm not going to say that. He's going to play just good enough, but Mr. Trubisky, it's not going to be so much Chicago winning. It's going to be Dallas losing, as it's been the last 3 weeks. So I'm just going to say 20-13 Chicago, because I think Dallas is seriously, like, there's a lot of noise there, and they all just want Jason Garrett fired. It's painfully obvious. I wish that Jerry Jones would just do. I understand why he doesn't, because that can cause even more problems. But do I think Dak's throwing games? I realistically don't. But I do think it's obvious that everyone wants Jason Garrett gone. And I think this game is going to be another, like, hey, just do it. We know it's going to be week 15 next week, but just do it.
Real quick, before you say your score, Ethan, I wanted to mention something about the Bears and Mr. Trubisky. So, my father and my brother were playing Madden in a franchise league, and I wanted to join mid-season, join the Bears. I had 2 games with Mitch Trubisky. One of them I threw 5 touchdown passes and had like damn near a perfect passer
That's not
rating.
quite
Yeah, that's Madden. That is Madden.
But
Nope.
the other game, I was playing against a team that I'm not going to name, and the Rams. And on a game-winning drive, Mr. Trubisky threw the worst pass ever, ever in the history of Madden.
What does this affect my score?
It doesn't affect your score. I just wanted to talk about it because we were.
Because again, it's not real life. So Mr.
But
Trubisky ever going 5
Mitch
touchdown passes
Trubisky is
fake.
still on pace to be MVP in the.
Yep, that's
season.
Madden. Brendan, I just want you to remember this is Madden. Mr. Trubisky, you are not. This is not Madden. You are
But
a dog shit
Even
quarterback.
if Mitch Trubisky wins MVP, I'm
No.
shipping him, and I'm picking up Dak in free agency because again, this is Madden, so Dak goes to free agency.
Yeah, no, but it's Madden. Mitch Trubisky's not an MVP contender. He never will even sniff.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Wait, we're doing pick'ems.
Yeah, Ethan?
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
I have the Cowboys looking a lot better than they really are at this point. I got the Cowboys winning 31-18.
Nice.
Nice.
Good,
Next,
good
we
stuff.
got Sunday Night Football. We got the Seahawks and the Rams. This is a NFC West.
This one should be
Metro.
flexed out of prime time.
No, I
I
wouldn't say
disagree.
that because both teams are like.
I think it'll.
After
they have good
the Rams
matchups.
got their asses kicked.
Hey,
by
look at the
Baltimore.
last time they played.
But you can flex in Niners Saints, which would be a lot better game.
No, and that's valid.
I'm just salty
yes.
because the Vikings got flexed out of their prime time.
Well, yeah, they're playing the Chargers.
Yeah, but that's still the same scenario here.
No, because the
Rams are better than the
than
Chargers.
Seahawks
Yeah.
are really good.
Either way, I'm still salty.
I want to talk about this game first. This is my team.
All right, go for it.
All right, the Rams. I mean, they had a good performance against a really bad Arizona team. I shouldn't say really bad. That's not nice. But I don't know. I just view this game as this is just another thing for Russell Wilson to put on his MVP thing. Seattle is one of the best road teams in the league. Rams are one of the worst home teams in the league. So I just think this is just another game for LA to get their hopes up and just for them to fall flat on their face. I think that Jadeveon Clowney is going to have a really good game because anybody who's had even a half-decent pass rusher against the Rams has killed us. The only time they didn't was Chicago. I think the Rams will make it interesting. Like I think it'll be tight for a little bit. I don't know. 26-17 Seattle because I just don't really know what the Rams are playing for at this point. And Russell Wilson's a beast. So
I got 38-16 Seattle. I don't think there's going to be a question. I think Chris Carson's really going to show up again. He's kind of been iffy past few weeks. I
They
think he's
said,
going to really.
what's his face? Their running back from last year.
Rashad Penny?
Yeah, Rashad Penny's going to start splitting carries. I saw that.
Yeah, he's
Or
kind
more
of.
involved in
He's
his
kind of been doing that now. But Chris Carson definitely has been getting,
I mean, yeah.
I guess, more. But I think they need just a little. Let Russell Wilson have a little time, Just let him recover a little bit. Get ready for the postseason. Gets the Rams. Might as well
Put
just have
Paxton
him ring
Lynch
the
in.
bell. Paxton Lynch isn't on that team anymore. It's
He's
Geno
not.
Smith, I think.
Is it?
Somebody.
For who?
Seattle. I don't
Did
know.
they Brett Hundley?
maybe the Rams should
Maybe.
start Blake Bortles.
38-16. They should actually. That'd be.
Hey, maybe Blake Bortles can have a resurgence like Ryan Tannehill is doing.
The Rams
Yeah.
should trade for Nick Foles.
No.
Anyways, what do you got for the score?
Trade for him again.
I'm gonna say, yeah, we tried that once. It did not work. The Rams just need to do.
I didn't say my score yet.
Yeah.
It's time to go. I think Seattle's going to win tonight against the Vikings. I think Seattle's going to win against the Rams. That pass rush is going to terrorize Jared Goff. Russell Wilson's going to run around and be MVP-ish. They win 28-7.
I got the Hawks winning 34-21. I just think Russell Wilson's a beast. It sucks though because any other year I think Russell Wilson would be front runner for MVP, but I don't
Yeah.
think Lamar Jackson's losing it.
I think there's no way you don't give it to
Unless Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson has a complete meltdown these last 4 games, I do not see Lamar Jackson not winning MVP.
Yeah, same.
No matter what Russell Wilson, unless Russell Wilson, I think would have to literally put up like 5 touchdowns a game the rest of the year to close it in. Or to
I mean,
close it.
Russell Wilson.
When do they determine MVP? What part of this? Like, do they do playoff? Is it after the playoffs? Or is it?
Trade before the Super Bowl.
So what if Russell goes in and balls out in the playoffs?
I don't
Playoffs
know.
don't count.
Yeah, I don't think
They don't
playoffs.
look-
Yeah,
That's what I was
It's
curious about.
Yeah, it's for the regular season. If that's the case, LeBron would MVP every single year for that because they do the same thing for basketball.
And Tom Brady would have won some MVPs.
No.
Julian Edelman probably would have won an MVP though.
Yeah.
Like to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think if they're talking about because obviously, because in that case, Nick Foles would have an MVP award. But I'm talking about you perform well in the regular season, then perform well in the playoffs.
Opinion.
Did everybody say the Seattle game? They're not missing anybody.
Did you say your Seattle score?
I don't remember what my score was.
We had 42-24 Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle.
Yeah, an ass kicking.
Yeah, next we got Monday night.
Wow, what a matchup!
This is a good,
Wow.
good
Wow.
to make me watch
pinnacle
Raw
division
again.
rivalry right here.
I'm missing Raw 2 weeks in a row for some good football games.
I might even
Next week we'll go back to Monday Night Raw. It's the Giants and the Eagles, or Monday Night Raw. I'm choosing Monday Night Raw. I think it's gonna be a bad game.
The Eagles I think the Eagles are going to win. I think because last week they activated Alshon and Ertz played, and they had insert second wide receiver here. But they had all the receivers come back. Alshon Jeffrey had an amazing game. I think that he's going to have another one against the Giants. I think the Eagles are gonna kill him. I honestly do. I think it's gonna be 21-10.
See, I'm gonna actually throw it out here.
No.
Upset alert.
No.
Upset alert.
No.
The Giants were kind of keeping pace with the Packers there. I feel like they can do the same thing with the Eagles. 24-21 Giants.
Honestly, the sad thing is I almost agreed with Brennan in the sense of I seriously there is still a part of me that wants me to pick the Giants to win just because the Eagles, I literally don't know what to expect from them week to week anymore. Like Carson Wentz, I mean, he's like
Carson Wentz had a good game though.
Yeah, but that's the thing is he's just such a roller coaster quarter. I shouldn't even say he is. It's just that team. It's such a roller coaster team. Like I mean, it's literally week to week. They can beat the best of teams and then lose to the worst of teams, and you just don't know what to take them. They are a hot mess. They're not a dumpster fire, but they're a hot mess. Like they just don't know what the shit they're doing. So like I said, I honestly almost picked the Giants. I did, however, come to a little bit more senses. I do have the Eagles winning 21-10. But honestly, if the Giants win this game, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Upset alert.
I don't know. The Giants are like bad.
I mean, you can pick the same score.
Yeah. I do think, because I do think they
2 points more than us.
Yes, I had 23-10. I mean, again, if the Giants made this close, I wouldn't be like super shocked. But I do think the Giants are a really bad football team.
I think they're the worst team in the NFL.
Honestly, in terms of what I've seen, it'd be hard pressed to disagree because even the Bengals, who have one win, they've been in a lot of games. They could have like 4 wins up to this point.
The Giants had a better offensive line than you. Because if Saquon could actually run.
Yeah, but their defense isn't that spectacular either.
Yeah, but if their offense could get working, that's the problem with Saquon.
The thing is, I don't really know what I'm getting with Daniel Jones. Like Daniel Jones has been kind of a turnover machine the last
who are their
5
receivers?
weeks.
This is the 2020 NFL. It doesn't matter how bad.
Yeah, but he's not number one.
But this thing is with
I know, but
right,
but who won the Super Bowl? Team with the better defense.
Yeah, but I think
at least
the
four
last
wins,
like 15 Super Bowl champions have been top 10 in both offensive and defensive categories.
But the Kansas City Chiefs are going to change that narrative, so why can't
this year.
teams like the Giants do that?
But the Chiefs ain't. But notice how the Chiefs didn't win a Super Bowl.
What'd you say about the Chiefs?
Well, no, okay.
Changing the narrative?
Well, because you're saying this is the 2020 NFL.
They won't do it this year.
You don't need a defense in a Super Bowl. I'm like, I beg to differ. The last 15 Super Bowl champions have had both top 10 offensive and defensive units.
But this was literally arguments of some other people's on the podcast at the beginning of the season.
Defense wins championships.
I do think defense wins championships. Offense can get you there, but you need a defense to win the whole thing. That's why I think Baltimore has a really good shot. And that's why I think New England Kansas City and Houston are probably not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't trust their defenses enough. But that is how we were talking about. We're doing pickups.
Yeah, I got 32-21 just because I like high-scoring games. Eagles.
Just because.
Yeah.
Just because.
And then the game I chose, I think it's going to be really good. And
this could be the game of the week.
I think this is going to probably determine the number 1 seed.
I think it will.
I
think it's going to really determine who the best team is. Maybe even the NFL is, honestly. Like, I think whoever wins this game, because they'll get home field, I think whoever wins this game will ultimately go to the Super Bowl to represent the NFC.
49ers Saints.
Yeah.
So, I got to be in a high-score game. 38-32. I think both teams are going to ball out. I think George Kittle is going to have a better game. He didn't play much last week. I think he's going to play a lot more against the Saints, and I think that's going to be one of the difference makers. But I still have the Saints going out above 38-32. I think Michael Thomas is going to show why Michael Thomas deserves at least his name mentioned in the MVP race. And I also think that we're going to see more Taysom Hill plays that allow him for 3 different crazy talkings in the first half of a football game. 38-32 Saints.
I will go next. I think this is going to be a good game. I think what's going to come down to is I have the Saints winning. I think the Saints winning 24-21. I think what's going to come down to is going to come down to a Will Lutz field goal. I think both teams are really good overall. I love how the Saints. I think the Saints are really because they're good on offense, they're good on defense, they're good on special teams. I mean, they got players like Taysom who are just building to throw in places. I think the Saints are. I get like they said, these are both two of the best teams in the NFL, but I think the Saints are just going to be better. I think Drew Brees is going to end up just being better than Jimmy G, and they're going to win 24-21.
I really think that the Niners also have just as full of a team as you depict the Saints having. They're good on defense. They're good on offense.
Right?
I mean, Jimmy G has shown, especially like in the past couple of weeks, that he can actually come out and be a top-tier quarterback, even though he looked like he was seeing ghosts, like Sam Darnold in the Seahawks game not too long ago.
Sam Darnold's been balling out, actually.
Yeah.
Last, 4 weeks.
Did you see
Maybe
that
he stopped seeing ghosts.
Well, no. Did you see that New York Times article where it was like breaking? He got drunk and like hooked up with some girl. Or whatever.
Yeah. That was
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Breaking news: a 22-year-old being a 22-year-old. Whoa.
But anyways, final score prediction for this one is 28-26 49ers.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be the best team that San Francisco has played all year, and this is going to be the toughest environment that they're going to play in all year. Because the thing with the Baltimore game is, Baltimore's a good football team, but I think that game was affected by the weather. And then against Seattle, they're a good team, but they had them at home. This is going to be, like, playing in the Superdome is a whole different animal. And this young San Francisco team doesn't know that yet. I think that, first off, I just think New Orleans is a better football team, but just all around. Nothing against the Niners. I think the Niners are great. But I think experience is going to be a big part of this game, because I do think that this is probably going to be the best collective offense that the Niners play all season. This is easily going to be the best collective defense they play all year. And in that environment, I do think New Orleans, it's going to look a lot like the Rams game last year in the regular season. I think that the Rams will get up early in the regular season, not in the NFC Championship. I think they'll get up early, like by a lot. San Francisco will get a late drive, and then they'll kind of get a touchdown to pull away. I have 35-21. New Orleans gets a big victory, and they'll reclaim first place in the NFC.
You know, I have quite a barn burner for my game. Talk about high-scoring games. This one definitely could be a high-scoring game. I still got the Niners coming out on this one. I don't know. I think the Niners are starting to get that mentality where they, like, obviously they know that they're a good team.
They have some swagger to them, though.
But I think they are honestly starting to realize that this could be the year that they win a Super Bowl. Like, in the sense, like, these young guys are like, we could actually win a Super Bowl this year if we play hard enough, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and they're not scared to show it. That can also be a bad thing, because then they get too cocky.
Right.
But I just think the 49ers, are going to come into this game with some confidence, especially knowing it's the Saints. I got the 49ers winning 42-35.
Is that everybody for the Niners game?
Yeah.
All right, Ethan.
Oh, now it's my game. I didn't pick the Vikings game for this next week, not because I didn't want to, just because I saw a different game that I honestly think could be a really fun game to watch. I picked the Bills at Ravens game this week.
Wait, isn't it in Buffalo this week, though? I thought it was in Buffalo.
I thought it was Bills at Ravens. Somebody could check on that. But either way, surprisingly, though, I actually have the Ravens losing this game. Not like anything bad against the Ravens or anything, because I have it as a really close game. I have it a field goal decision. But I still got the Bills coming out 24-21. Close game, like really close game. So
I would love to see the Bills beat the Ravens this week. I think that would be amazing. I have a really close game too. I have the Ravens winning. It will be a close game though. I have the Ravens winning 18-16. I think it's gonna be a good defensive game, not a high scoring game.
Oh, definitely.
A lot of quarterback running, if you could guess that.
Yeah, to arguably the top two best mobile quarterbacks in the league.
I think both quarterbacks are going to lead their team in rushing. That's my bold prediction.
So originally I thought it was the Ravens at home. It is the Bills at home, and that actually changes my prediction. I have the Bills being 38-32. I just think that Bills Mafia in Buffalo can be a little too much for the Ravens. I still think the Ravens are going to have a great game. Just Josh Allen and the Bills are going to have a little bit of a better one. and it's going to show the Bills are a real threat. Of course, they did against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are like Cowboys. So I think they'll really do it this week.
I think this is going to be the first game all year where Lamar Jackson struggles a little bit. I think Buffalo's going to make him sweat. Buffalo has some swagger to them now. Like you saw it against Dallas, they were mocking all the Cowboys fans and all their stuff or whatever. Yeah. Buffalo knows they're a good football team, and they're kind of pissed off that everyone's sleeping on them. And that crowd's going to be hyped because the game against Pittsburgh is going to be prime time. But still, this is going to be a big matchup.
That's bullshit. That's the Vikings game that got flexed out.
Unfortunately, it was, but it is what it is. But I think the Bills are going to have some swagger to him. I think Josh Allen is starting to come into his zone. I think he's going to want to try and outshine Lamar Jackson. And I think that this Bills defense at home is – well, first off, the Bills defense is insanely good as it is. But at home, they're really, really good. I just think that Buffalo is just going to just give it everything they got. And I think with momentum that they have, I think they're going to edge out the Baltimore Ravens in an upset, 24-20, and Buffalo moves to 10-3.
See, I'm going to take everything you just mentioned there, right? And I'm going to reverse it because just as Lucifer fell to pride, the Bills will fall to pride. The Bills are going to
pride. They're good. They're insanely good. They've
had close games against the Miami Dolphins. They lost to the Cleveland Browns.
They almost beat
the Ravens. The Ravens lost.
Yeah, Baltimore got destroyed by Cleveland. Destroyed. Look where Cleveland is now.
The Bills killed Tom Brady week 3, didn't they? He was almost got to Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley was the quarterback.
Yeah, y'all almost lost to Matt Barkley. And
we're not talking about the Patriots.
No, but you're talking about the Bills. I'm just talking about what the Bills have been doing.
Beat the Patriots with Matt Barkley.
Yeah, exactly. The Bills are a good football. You can't even say they'll fall back down to earth. No, at this point, they're now a serious division threat. Honestly,
I think that's why he's scared.
He's scared. He knows Buffalo can make a run. He knows they can. He just doesn't want to.
Look at him, yeah.
He's nervous. He's nervous. Because he knows that he knows that game in Foxborough, Buffalo versus New England, could decide the division depending on how things go. It really easily could. Because
what was the other team that the Bills lost to?
Yeah, because obviously they lost to the Pats.
So they lost to the Patriots. They lost to the Browns. Who was the third team?
The Eagles.
Hey, Brendan, did you like Addison Russell?
Who? Addison Russell. Oh, the fact that you don't know who he is, he probably doesn't even care. Well, he played for the Cubs.
He just got cut.
He's really good, by the way.
Not good enough to not get cut, though.
Well, the Cubs are in rebuild mode.
If the Bills win the division, I will be so happy.
We'll have to break a table if the Bills do.
Honestly, we'll have to have a video and put it on our social media, just like us doing Bills Mafia.
What do you want me to jump off? I don't care.
I'll jump through a freaking table.
I'll do it.
I'll buy a Josh Allen jersey at Pro Image.
We'll do it off the balcony.
I'll do it.
I'll save some money at least.
Yeah, sure. At least
probably not a great idea. It's probably
I'll do it for a car or something.
There you go. Anyways, Brendan.
I really think that the Bills are going to show up and shit the bed. 48-17. Ravens.
Dude, disrespect. You know, fine. Bills don't care about... Bills, at this point, don't care what any of us say because the Bills know that they're a good football team. They're just going to play. They're just going to ball out.
And either way, you're saying the Bills have all this whatever. Ravens do too. Lamar Jackson's wearing sunglasses on the sideline. You don't think that pride can get to him very easily?
You already know the Bills are going to be bringing sunglasses. And the minute they sack him or they force a turnaround, they're just repping those shades.
Right.
Well, they saw they were making fun of Dak. They were saying, one of them was really pointing up at where Jerry was sitting. He was like, I see why you don't pay him. Bills were feeling themselves against Dallas.
It was funny. You're watching. They're playing good. I remember there's one play that I laughed at. And Dak Prescott had the ball, and he goes up there and he's like this, and he looks and the ball's not there. And the ball's going the other direction. He has no idea what's going on. Hilarious. I died laughing.
Well, you got the Scorpion.
For me?
Yeah.
I already said 18-16 Ravens. I think this is going to be a good game. I can go either way. I would love for the Bills to win, like I said.
No. It's your turn.
Your turn. Your game.
My game. By this point, I was kind of flip-flopping between a few games. I think this will just be interesting. I think there's a lot of playoff implications on the line. I have the surging Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Like surging. Like Ryan Tannehill is balling right now. Like straight up balling. On the road against the Oakland Raiders. Well, if we want to talk about a team falling to earth, the Raiders have definitely done that because they've been playing so bad these last 2 weeks. Really, really bad. I understand they played the Chiefs, but there is no excuse against the Jets. Like, the Jets are a bad football team.
Yeah.
And I think with a team, for me, it's just a bad formula. You have a really hot team against a team that's, like, limping right now. I think Tennessee's going to kill them. I think Ryan Taylor's going to have an insanely good game. And, again, it's just going to prove that Marcus Mariota was holding that team back the whole time because Tennessee all of a sudden find themselves in a position to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Colts 31-17.
Kill them, absolutely kill them.
I think I agree. I think Tennessee's going to have I guess I put a similar points game to the last game.
Yeah, I think it's the exact same one. 31-17.
I have 35-18 Tennessee. I think arguably the Colts are better than Oakland right now.
I think so too.
And I think Tennessee's going to roll it. Ryan Tannehill has a good game. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Have a monster
Yeah,
game.
Derrick Henry is like top 5 in every rushing category since week I think it's like week 6 or something like that. But no, I have 42-17. I think Tennessee's going to kill them.
My story is just kind of flipped around a lot. I want a backstory to why I've always been supporting Marcus Mariota. I've been blindly supporting Marcus Mariota. My great-grandmother, my sweet, sweet great-grandmother.
Was a lion. That's why he likes Marcus Mariota.
No, she's 82.
Let's beat it up, Brendan.
She owns one Titans jersey, and she's a huge Titans fan. And that's
But it's not a
Marcus
Mariota.
Mariota.
Why does she? That's.
She got it as a gift.
Even a Vince Young jersey would be better than Marcus.
She wears it and she looks really cute in it. Okay, and it's my great grandma. But besides the point, 31-17, Tennessee.
Okay, I have it being 32-9 Tennessee. I just think any chance that the Raiders had, they lost it when they lost to the not just the Jets, but when they lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I thought they had a chance. They just had an off game. They did not just have an off game.
No, I think they're really coming back down to earth.
And sad to see it, but
which I mean, I will say the Raiders are still defying everyone's expectations.
Right.
Like what the Raiders have is a great foundation to build off. I think it's going to get better when they go to Vegas because being a Rams fan, you go from St. Louis to LA, that just brings in more money. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't change the fact that they're still a bad football team.
Right.
I was the only person to pick Oakland one this week.
You did.
And here's my reason.
Okay.
It's not that Oakland's a good football team. It's literally just the fact that this last 2 weeks we've seen the weirdest wins. Like with Miami, New York.
That's true.
We've just been seeing weird. Yeah, the Redskins. We've seen weird wins last 2 weeks. I think it'll continue this week. Oakland will be that team where we'll come in next week and be like, guys, Oakland beat the Titans last week. And be like, yeah, that was fucking weird. So yeah, I got Oakland winning 24-10.
Interesting.
Is that everybody for you game?
Yes. That was Brendan's choice.
78-3 Kansas City for the Kansas City Patriots game.
Oh,
we all had the Chiefs winning.
All the Chiefs winning. Wow, you out Brendan me on the score. I had 54-7, Casey.
Because you know why though?
Why?
Because I'm hoping, like my mindset is, if I bend the score, the Patriots are gonna win.
But see, I bend it last week and the Texans won.
Yeah, but not in like a bend score.
He just needs a dub. So he's like, well, we might as well go with the Chiefs winning anyway.
Okay, until last week, I was always like top 2.
See, but here's the thing: is Brendan does now this week he's kind of doing the reverse of what I did. Because remember that week I picked the Patriots to win. Because if the Patriots won, I get the extra the pick 'em. But if they lose, they lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if Brendan, picks the Chiefs to win,
at least he'll get pick 'em.
He'll get a pick 'em for it.
Yeah.
But if the Chiefs lose, then the Patriots win.
This is funny because there wasn't this. I mean, KC and New England seems like in the recent year or two has been good matchups. Well, yeah, it's been good.
Besides the overtime.
Well, yeah,
Mahomes should have got a chance, but
yeah, I think
I have just a little side note. I actually have the in my opinion, a really good way to fix the NFL overtime. I don't know if I've told it to you guys yet.
You told me.
I told it to you, but we'll finish pick'ems first. Then I'll propose it.
I think New England doesn't keep up with Kansas City offense. I think Mahomes outthrows Brady. Brady throws. This is my official prediction. Brady throws 2 touchdowns and a pick. No, never mind. I haven't thrown one.
I was gonna say, he scores 2 touchdowns, only scores 7 points.
Yeah,
2 touchdowns, 1 to the other team.
yeah.
What up?
He throws a touchdown and a pick. I think the KC is going to roll over them. I have 54-7. It's my official score. That's going to happen.
I have legit ass kicking in this game. I have the Chiefs winning 38-14. I just don't see the Patriots, even as bad as the defense that the Chiefs have. I don't know. This Patriots offense has just been weird the last couple weeks. If they prove me wrong, I guess. But yeah, right now I just don't really know what's going on with that Patriots offense. That's why I only had them scoring 14 against a really shitty defense. But yeah, the Chiefs are gonna go up for 38.
I'm going to stop you there. You're saying the Chiefs are a really shitty defense. The Chiefs' defense has probably stepped up like 10 times what they were at the beginning of the season to begin
They
with.
really have.
So I think the Chiefs' defense actually, even you look at what they did, the Texans' defense, they're not that fantastic.
No, Texas defense is nothing great.
I think that you can probably say the same thing about the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs have just as easily of a chance to beat the Patriots this week. I have it 24-16. But I think that part of their I think it's like Brennan was saying, their offense, there was tons of offensive penalties, false starts, and all that. And I think that's just going to continue the rest of the season into the playoffs. And I think that's why they're not going to make the Super Bowl, is because of stupid mistakes that they keep making. As you can tell, Belichick's son, the one with the long hair, whatever his name is,
He's running the defense.
he was so upset
Seattle's
the way the game was
tonight
going.
in person look a lot worse than they should have been. Oh my god, they're bad.
What are they? Are they the neon?
It's the neon green with blue pants.
Oh, I love those ones,
It
but
looks so bad.
Ben, it's your game.
I don't know.
Is my game?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I just picked one because the Packers game. It's Packers and Redskins in Lambeau. I don't see this being a hard game for the Packers. I mean, it's the Redskins.
Yeah. Well, who did the Redskins to win?
I did, obviously.
What?
Just Duncan had the Redskins winning. I
They're on
had
a streak.
31-14. They beat the Giants 31-13. I think the Redskins get 1 more points than the Giants do, but
That's it.
that's it.
Okay, the biggest thing here is the Packers' Achilles heel all year has kind of been their rush defense, and
Isn't that bad? I think we're the 18th or 19th rush team, but we're not like awful.
you're not like the Chiefs. But
Defensively overall, Green Bay is 27th in the league overall.
Jesus.
But anyways, like that's kind of been the low spot on this like playoff bound Packers is their rush defense. And last year we saw a phenomenal running game between Darius Geis and Adrian Peterson. I think the two combined for like 3 touchdowns and a whole shit ton of yards. So I think that they're going to be still scoring, but I think the Packers are still going to win 39-27.
It just sucks because I wanted to pick the Redskins to win this game, but I don't know. That Washington offense, it's really shaky, obviously, with Dwayne Haskins and everything. It's just, I mean, without Trent Williams, I mean, their offensive line's horrible. Obviously, Adrian Peterson is not having nearly the season he had last year. Darius Geis is still, this is only a 2nd or 3rd week back from not playing all year. Their receivers, I don't even know who their receivers are, to be honest. I know they got Terry McLaurin, but he fell off really hard after this first, 7 weeks. This Redskins team, if they're smart, they're just going to tank. Honestly, they could take for an offensive lineman, trade Trent Williams in the offseason. I mean, they could do so much with this team next year. But, yeah, I got the Packers kicking their ass 35-10.
Yeah, I have 28-10. Green Bay is obviously the better team. I don't really think I need to go beyond that. So,
Alrighty, I got it 21-18 Redskins. Last week, you were talking about the run defense, right? So last week against the Christian McCaffreys, Darius Geis had 129 yards, averaged 12.9, and had 2 touchdowns and 10 carries. Adrian Peterson then in 13 carries, had 99 yards, averaged 7.6 yards, and had a touchdown.
And he's going to want to crack the top 10 this week. So
Right.
top 5 in career rushing this week. So.
Right. So I think both of those are going to have great
But
games.
I guess on the flip side, you look at the Packers holding Saquon to like 70 yards.
Right.
Saquon is not Saquon that we
And
saw
I think we
earlier
have Chris
this year.
McCaffrey to not that much either. Like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It sucks being a Vikings fan and supporting a Packer, like the Packers, but I mean.
Plus, we were talking about this pregame. If the weather's bad, Adrian Peterson is not.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson, for playing in Minnesota, he sucks in wet weather.
Well, yeah, but he's always played in the dome, though.
Yeah.
Which, and that's what we talked about.
Yeah,
In the dome.
he's never had to be in bad weather.
No, but he's going to be in a snowy Green Bay,
True.
which will always affect the run game if it snows or rains a lot.
Adrian Peterson's too old to play good in the snow. Darius
Which
Slay's too young.
I was looking into it. It is
Snow.
close. It is projected to snow all weekend in Green Bay. So
Lit.
Well,
I love snowy football games. Though.
that's that.
What is that?
Oh shit, that was.
Noah's overtime.
Yeah, do you want to stay over?
Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll use the Patriots Chiefs game in the example. So
Okay.
so NFL game goes to overtime. You shouldn't do college rule because this is the NFL. It's not college. I think the road team should start with the football because playing on the road is a huge disadvantage in the NFL. Road teams start with the football. No point toss, no nothing. You start on the 25-yard line. You can go down the field, do what you got to do. If you score a touchdown, you can either A, go for the extra point and then put your defense on the field, or B, go for 2 and win the football game.
So if you touch the ball first, you have to get touchdown and get the 2 point to win.
To win, because the biggest thing that was brought to me is like, well, no, you can't emphasize not playing defense, and that's very true, because it appeases to, okay, you're going to get a chance to get the football, but if your defense can't stop them at all, like not even on a 2-point conversion, it emphasizes defense. It's basically what I wanted to include. So, let's say the Patriots score a touchdown, they want to give the extra point because they trust their defense to make a stop. Then Kansas City goes out and scores a touchdown. If they get the 2 point, obviously they win. But if they kick the extra point, then it's just next score wins.
See, but I guess the one thing is that still wouldn't make it for the other offense to get on the team.
Well,
Or
no,
on the field,
I know, but I think right because the thing is like I honestly don't think they really need to change the rule as it is right now. I do think defense does matter in the NFL, and but I think with that it at least appeases to people like, oh, well, defense still matters, and but we want every chance to get the ball. Let's say the score is like 24-24 in overtime. Your defense has been playing good. Screw it. We'll take the extra point and have your chance our defense to get the ball. Because instead of because then you could be like, oh, well, we could go for the 2 point conversion and not get it, or we could be like, okay, our defense isn't playing really good. Let's just kick the extra point. Let's trust our defense to make a stop.
I guess my thing has always been, I don't know why they don't just do overtime then sudden overtime. Like in the sense you just play like an extra 8 minutes of football.
Yeah.
Like just 8 minutes no matter what. Like you can kick a field goal, score a touchdown, doesn't matter.
Right.
And then whatever the score is after that, you go and do a sudden death where it's, whoever scores next wins. Because at least that point, both teams can have a chance at the ball.
Right.
The only problem I see with that is how they schedule NFL games. One big stops, one begins. Like to have that long overtime period. That ideally that would be my favorite too. But I think with scheduling, they have to push the games back. There'd have to be more time between games. Like right now, it's literally one and one start. You need to have like a 15-30 window between games, which would push games later and.
Which maybe like the solution there is to have like a playoff different like overtime rules.
I would like that.
Like in the NHL, for example, it goes to one overtime, and then if nobody scores at that, it goes into a shootout, and then whoever wins the shootout wins in the regular season. But in the playoffs,
they just keep going overtime.
They keep doing 20-minute overtimes until somebody gets a goal.
I would like that because there's been a couple playoffs where it just it seems like in recent years there's always like one playoff game where it just ends stupid on an overtime. Like I remember.
See, what's funny though, because and this is gonna be so annoying, and I know I'm right when I say this. If let's say the Chiefs win that game in the AFC Championship, there's no way people care about if there's an overtime change. No one talks about it.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. I personally don't think they should change overtime because I think defense does matter. Like I've said, I think I know it's the 2020 NFL, but you still need defense to win a Super Bowl. And if your defense can't make a stop at all, because again, Kansas City had New England 3rd and long 3 times on that drive, should have stopped them.
Well, yeah, because in that game too, whatever his name was, I think it might have been Frank Clark. He jumped off sides.
Yeah,
He was in
exactly.
the neutral zone. It was like 3rd and 15 that would have ended the game had they stopped him. When he
Right,
jumped off
exactly.
sides and gave him a set of downs. But
But
Yeah.
see, what I look at is, I know this is going to be biased, don't at me, the 2015 Cardinals-Packers playoff game where
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers came back in the fourth quarter throwing 2 Hail Marys, and then when overtime, Leonard Fitzgerald went and won.
or just like the Tim Tebow literally wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for this overtime rule.
Yeah.
Because
And we
against the
need to
Steelers,
keep
Tim
it-
Tebow threw 1 pass to Emmanuel Sanders.
Just keep
Or
the playoff
Demarius
rules.
Thomas. That was it. Like that was that overtime.
Nah,
So like I
yeah,
do
just
agree with
keep
Ben.
it.
Like you can literally see overtimes end in 10 seconds, and then it's like, what's the point of going to overtime?
Yeah,
Right.
and especially when the team comes back and then make it,
Yeah.
and they push it to overtime. Like, the team could come back from down, push to overtime, and then lose in the first play. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly,
okay, whatever.
exactly. I guess that's just my thing. That's why I like to see both offenses at least get a chance.
Right. Yeah. I don't
Because
know.
on the flip side, it's like, well, just because this team's defense can't make the stop this time, what makes you think that because realistically it comes to coin toss. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you win the coin toss and you go for get the ball, I mean, you have just as good as odds of scoring because you push it to overtime, So,
Mhm.
yeah. NFL rules are broken. There's no really
NFL
right way to fix
No,
it,
you
though.
can't fix them.
No. I don't know. I personally don't think there's a problem with the way it is because I do think that playing defense does. I'm just a believer that playing defense in the NFL does matter. And I think at least if I were to present this to the NFL, I'd be like, well, it's realistically the only change because the NFL doesn't really like change. The NFL is just kind of like our rules. I shouldn't even say that because they did change the stupid PI penalty thing.
You need to change your back.
They do need, yeah, that's just stupid.
Really following me.
The thing is,
Happening
we
against
can
New
sit here
Orleans,
for
I saw
in
that.
20 years, you can have the same argument. Because no matter what they change the rule to, there's always going to be a problem with it. And there's
Yeah,
no way to
Right,
make the rules
it's never going to
Yeah.
be perfect. The NFL is just never going to be perfect, and that's okay. Because I'll
So-
still watch it.
I'm going to watch it too.
I will still watch it.
You know which sport I don't really watch?
What?
Basketball.
Hmm.
I just don't watch it. I don't have time to watch it.
Well, we'll get to that in
Well,
1 second here.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even realize what time it was.
Okay. So you're saying.
Yeah, so the NBA, they're also playing right now.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched any of it. I've been watching football and working, but yeah, basketball. I couldn't even tell you who's doing good right now.
Who's your favorite team?
The Raptors.
They're not doing that
Raptors are
great.
doing good.
They're going decent.
Raptors are number 2 seed in the East right now. They're
There
only
you go.
a game and a half behind Milwaukee.
One of the spots this year.
I was telling Brian if the Raptors made the finals this year, I wouldn't bat an eye.
That's
I kinda
Siakam.
would just
I
because of some of the teams on the East.
No, but realistically, you look at the Bucks; they're the same roster that they have. So realistically, the formula would be do what we did. Obviously, you don't have Kawhi, but Pascal Siakam could seriously make a case for most improved player right now, and he's
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
right. And Pascal Siakam's just balling, like he looks like an all-star right now. So I do think that if Milwaukee, if Toronto, all they need to do is play good defense, which they still do. They still have those big bodies in there.
Yeah.
Basically, with the Bucks, you just have to shut down Giannis, and then with the Sixers and the Celtics, it's just the same thing. You just got to man up and play D, which Toronto does.
Well, even someone like Fred VanVleet, he's probably one of, if not the most underrated point guard.
Fred VanVleet might also make a case for most improved player.
I mean, the guy he does literally whatever his team asks
Fred
him to.
VanVleet.
Yeah, I love that.
I thought he should have won Finals MVP last year.
Yeah, I really liked him
Is that
last
Fred's
year.
wife? What? Does Fred VanVleet have a wife named Greta VanVleet?
No, it's a band.
What?
Anyway,
Yeah, NBA.
basketball.
I think that
Luka,
Luka, yeah, he's going off.
a beast.
MVP.
MVP. But not too far behind is your boy LeBron. But Luka is a beast.
It all honestly the thing that's gonna happen this year with the MVP is if the NBA wants Luka to break Derrick Rose's record for youngest MVP.
Right. Which honestly though, it's not like it wouldn't be undeserving at this point.
Oh, definitely.
Dallas is 13. Dallas are the 4th seed in the West right now, in a very tough Western Conference, and it's realistically because of Luka.
Yeah.
Not realistically, it is because of Luka. Because Luka is playing an insane. How many points is he averaging? Like 30. You know, he's
I
averaging.
think it's like 30.8 is what it is.
Bro,
I mean, yeah. It's
Luka Doncic is like my second favorite player in the NBA.
TV. But yeah. Well, I guess what we can start with, the most surprising. Honestly, Luka to me was a surprise. Like, I knew the kid was a baller.
But I didn't think he'd be doing what he's doing right now.
God.
He's breaking records I didn't even know existed.
Like,
for guys at his age.
Like, he's playing insane basketball.
Like last year, he kind of seemed like to be at similar level as one of like Trae Young, but this year he's kind of proven that he's like a step above right now. Which no trash to Trae Young. He's still playing.
Trae Young's averaging 20 points a game. Trae Young's balling right now.
Yeah,
like,
but
dude, those two are gonna be like, oh man, if they
one of the all stars of the future.
If they could somehow find a way to like ever play in the finals together, like against each other, that'd be so cool. I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
Some other surprising things to me this year that actually kind of why I wanted to talk about basketball this year was Toronto. Toronto was one of them.
Yeah.
They're playing amazing basketball.
That's like Toronto is just playing like it was actually really funny. So a little like fun story. So I bumped into these Raptors fans once. We were just kind of chatting and stuff, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we don't need Kawhi." And obviously, walking away, I'm like, "That's stupid." They're not going to win the championship by any means, but like seriously, if they got to the finals, I wouldn't bat an eye because this team is realistically the same as it was last year, just minus Kawhi Leonard.
Which
and honestly, which is a big minus, but yeah, Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, who are both in the contention for most improved player, and the way Siakam's going, there's no reason he can't be an MVP contender. Like seriously, like Pascal Siakam is on an insane tear right now.
I liked him because they're from Canada. That's why I picked him a couple years ago.
Nice.
And now it's a good team to root for. They just won a championship and they're doing really good.
That's the same reason I picked the Golden Knights when they became into the league.
And they went to Stanley Cup their first
Because I'm
year.
like, I asked Brendan who was the worst team, and he said the Golden Knights. There you go. I'm like, well,
they're gonna be obviously you don't expect it. I was saying the same thing. Like, I'm not even expecting the expansion to be good, and my God, they were really good.
I specifically worded it like I was about to talk trash about some teams that were actually bad that season, but I was like, well, there is an expansion team, so
right? No, I was.
The roster's going to be a bunch of backups, but
anyway, NBA, some hoops. Player of the week.
Carmelo. I've been saying it for the last few months. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Carmelo Anthony is balling right now.
Okay,
I think it's great.
I'm sorry, though. He did not deserve Player of the Week.
What?
James Harden was the second. It was either second or the fastest player to ever score 60 points in a game.
They literally just sat him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I
mean,
he was
no
2
offense to
points
Carmelo.
away from his all-time high.
Don't get me wrong. He definitely shouldn't have won Player of the Week, but I think he's obviously playing really well, and I think it's great. It's a great story, and that's what the NBA is all about. NBA is all about stories, and like I think it's the perfect one. But obviously, James Harden, like you said, just was on a stupid tear this week. He's averaging like 40 points a game, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think when was the last time a player's averaged 40 points in the regular season?
It's probably
he did last year, didn't he? For a little bit.
He did. I mean, like to
season.
finish the season.
It was probably would have had to been either Oscar or
Wilt.
probably Wilt.
Bro.
What actually showed most 60-point games in an NBA career. James Harden is already third on the list. It went like Wilt, Jordan, Harden, and
it was Kobe. But the crazy part is their separation because Michael Jordan is 7, Wilt is 32.
Yeah, 32 60-point games.
That is insane.
Yeah, like no, not even touchable. Like the number of that was insane.
Yeah, that's a record that's not going to be broken for a long.
It probably won't ever be broken.
I don't think so.
I mean, but if somebody broke it would be Harden, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It has to be maybe honestly, I say someone like Devin Booker, just for the simple fact he would have to play on a bad team for so long, like where you just get fed the ball constantly and like nobody else is really around you. Because like that's something with Harden. That's why he can average his 40, but he'll probably never hit like 60, 30 more times because he just has players around him.
One thing that I want to talk about that I find surprising is the Phoenix Suns.
I was gonna say
I was gonna say that too.
But the only crappy thing is they are on the decline. the last like 2
Yeah,
weeks.
if we were to talk about this last week, but now the Suns are kind of coming back down. Their offense is playing really good, though.
Actually, funny thing too about this, Wizards have the second best offense in the league.
Wow.
The Washington
that's crazy.
Wizards.
By what? Like, I believe you. I'm saying like by points per game or like shooting
It's like
percentage.
I think it's
or...
their best. They have like the second best net offense in the league. It was crazy because when I saw it, I was like, no way.
Their defense must be insane.
They have scored the third most points in the league.
Wow.
Behind Houston and Milwaukee.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and then it goes Washington, Dallas, the Clippers, the Suns.
Wow. That is, jeez. I'm guessing Washington has a terrible defense then.
Yeah, I think that's their problem. They have like the 22nd rank.
See, yeah, that's just it too. That's the difference because obviously if your defense is really bad, then it's kind of hard to win basketball games.
Another surprise that I'm honestly going to say is Brandon Ingram this year. There's crazy how many people could win Most Improved Player this year. Like, because Wiggins is in it. Brandon Ingram's easily in it. Like, those two are having career resurgences. Like, they were both looking like busts, but this year they're proving everybody wrong. Yeah, it's awesome.
He's on a dumb tear for New Orleans.
And then just a couple of disappointments to the season, unless anybody's got any more surprises.
I mean, not really, to be honest. I mean, everyone's kind of where I expected them to be. I mean, obviously the Warriors, that's because they have a shit ton of injuries.
Kobe White is better than I thought he'd be.
Kobe White's a beast.
I thought he was going to be good.
I had doubts, and then I didn't. So,
yeah.
Honestly, my two biggest disappointments so far this year is Portland and San Antonio. San Antonio, I don't know what happened. They have realistically the same exact roster as they did last year. Obviously, Pop is still there.
Well, but I'm not so much surprised with San Antonio because San Antonio, the league's just passing them by. That's really all it is. Portland's a big one, though. Portland, that's the big one where I'm really surprised.
They were
Dame Time's taking too much Dame Time away from them.
Damian Lillard hasn't played. That's the problem. Like he was hurt for like a week and a half. That's when actually they signed. That's when they signed Carmelo actually. But yeah, Portland. Because it was 2 or 3 weeks ago when I said like my predictions for the seeding in the West, and I said Portland and Minnesota were going to be the two fringe ones. But I didn't expect Portland to start this bad on the year because they're still 8-12. Like they still got to win 4 games just to get to 500.
Right, and obviously there's a lot of season left, but still, like that's not the start that you want, without a doubt.
My biggest surprise is probably the Hawks. I was expecting Trae Young still playing good and stuff, playing really good. But I was expecting a little more from the Hawks, honestly.
Yeah, they're tied with the Knicks, and the Hawks have a way better roster than them.
That's true. It's true.
Other than that, there's just a whole bunch of trade rumors going on right now, like so many. Like way too many to even count. I know Kevin Love's a big one, even though he says he wants to stay. DeMar DeRozan, there's talks that the Spurs are just going to blow their team up. Like they're going to
trade DeMar DeRozan to the Raptors. Trade him back. Bring him back home.
Honestly,
I don't think DeMar DeRozan would love anything more to be back in Toronto. And honestly, if DeMar DeRozan went back to Toronto, I would maybe pick him to go to the finals. I really, really would.
As long as they didn't give anything up.
That's true. That's true.
Because if somehow Pop was nice enough to give him up, like just a pick or something. So obviously DeMar DeRozan as an NBA player isn't great in today's NBA because he can't shoot threes. He's a mid-range shooter, which can get you by, but
but if you put DeMar DeRozan, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam,
back with Kyle Lowry.
Dude.
And it's like you said, like bring him back home. Like fans of Toronto would love to see.
The fans would just love it, and everyone on that team would just love to have him back.
Yeah,
there would be no chemistry issue. There wouldn't even be an issue with chemistry because they literally would just go in there and be like, "All right, let's do this. I'm back home. We're finals contenders again. Like, let's do this."
Yeah,
I would love to see that. I hope the Spurs blow up their team and they trade DeRozan to the Raptors. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm not going to campaign for that now.
It just sucks that I've actually heard Orlando is probably, which just makes zero sense, but Orlando's going to go strong for DeMar, which wouldn't really make sense.
I mean, the Magic aren't a bad team, and they had a decent – they beat the Raptors in Game 1 last year, so I mean, I feel like they maybe feel like they're a couple pieces away, but I definitely don't think DeMar DeRozan is that piece to win you a championship.
Yeah. The last thing is for me is the Thunder are actually playing better than I thought they were. They're 8-11.
Yeah, they're actually doing pretty decent. I thought they would be dog shit, but they're not exactly dog shit.
And I'm going to advocate for this right now. They are talking that Chris Paul to Minnesota is a real thing towards the trade deadline. I don't want it to happen.
I would not want that.
Nobody should be paying a 36-year-old point guard $35 million a year.
I called that too. I said that was a bad signing by Houston.
Like that's a horrible. Like it's almost an untradeable contract.
Right.
Unless obviously since Russell Westbrook wanted out of OKC, but I mean yeah. Chris Paul's contract is horrible.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Regardless of who he is.
Exactly.
One thing, it's not a trade rumor, it's more of a free agency rumor, like after this season, that I have now I have mixed feelings about after hearing some other people's opinions. Anthony Davis to the Bulls this offseason.
It's becoming less and less frequent because the Lakers are playing insanely good. But I definitely think if he went to Chicago, it wouldn't surprise me because the trend in the NFL has been free agents going home or going where they're comfortable with, and obviously Anthony Davis is from Chicago. But I don't think that'd be smart. And obviously that's if the Lakers didn't meet expectations, and they are honestly, I think the Lakers are exceeding expectations. Lakers are on a dumb run right now. Like they are dumb good.
The only crappy thing about the Chicago getting Anthony Davis is I can see the Lakers trying to finesse the fuck out of him and doing literally what they did with the Pelicans, except reverse, where they would need a sign and trade type of deal where the Lakers would trade Anthony Davis to the Bulls, and then Chicago would give up like Markkanen, Levine, and then like 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, and the Bulls would do that because they're a terrible run franchise.
Yeah, because it would be bringing Anthony Davis home.
Right.
Yeah, which my whole opinion is I don't want him unless we can keep the rest of the team and do it. Which the good thing is that they're young, so we don't have to pay maxes yet, but contracts are coming up, so we're going to hit cap.
There's actually another NBA thing. Zach LaVine, third player in NBA history to hit 13 or more three-pointers in a game. His last one was insane. A game winner. It's pretty cool. But yeah.
But it's like the rumors, or there's actually been trade rumors for Zach LaVine to Atlanta.
Wow.
That's a thing.
It sucks because Zach LaVine deserves to have his own team in the sense like
which he does with the Bulls, but
the problem is and I said this when Minnesota traded LaVine to him, is the Bulls are going to get into a situation where they're going to have too many mouths to feed, and these guys are all young. These guys want teams because you have Lauri Markkanen, obviously LaVine. Now you have Kobe White. You have Wendell Carter. I mean, you have all these guys.
The thing is you just gotta hope that they start to win because then the players are gonna want to buy in. Like, whoa, okay, let's take a pay cut and let's go win a title.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta hope you have unselfish players. I mean, I don't really know what the Bulls have. I mean, I don't know, because I know from being a T-Wolves fan, or at least seeing Zach LaVine play. I mean, he's an awesome teammate. He's an awesome player.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, he's definitely that guy. He's willing to.
Yeah, the thing is you need a head coach that's gonna they need to just buy into what he's trying to sell. That's what they need.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is your coaching staff, the coaching staff in Chicago sucks.
It's bad.
It's horrible.
Like they can get a head coach that is good, that can just sell them like, hey guys, you guys are a young, talented roster. In terms of talent, you guys are probably the best young team in the league. In terms of potential, so if we can just figure this out, guys, we can have a chance to win the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Especially if Giannis leaves, especially if Embiid leaves, especially if I don't know if the Celtics lose some of their key players.
Yeah.
But
honestly, the Bulls need to do what Minnesota did: hire a young coach that gets the players.
Exactly.
And just take the 3-4 years to get everything pieced together. And you guys can seriously be such legitimate championship contenders.
Yeah, I think the T-Wolves keeping his name's Josh Saunders, right?
Brian.
Why do I say Josh Saunders? Ryan Saunders. I think that was a good thing to retain him.
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
To be fair, we were smart and got rid of Thibodeau once already.
Well, when Thibodeau was your guys' coach, you guys were balling.
Yeah, but until he wore out our players.
True.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to do our NBA pick'ems?
We can do it. Pick'ems.
All right, so just like we were doing recently, we picked a NBA position and we ranked players on it. Today we're doing
Power forwards.
Power forward. So, and just like last week, we have 5 categories: below average, lower average, average, above average, and top notch. Just like last week, we'll start at the bottom and do our worst players. We don't really have anybody in the below average category in our red category, but we do have a couple in our lower average. So if you guys are ready to start, we'll just go down from the top of the list. This is no order in the lower average. These are all lower average players. Our first one is Dario
Saric. Super Dario. He was a Timberwolves for one season. I liked him, but he's just literally been the guy that no team has valued him since he left Philadelphia, and I feel really bad for him. But he's a good player.
Okay, so next we have Paul Millsap.
He's just an aging veteran in my eyes. I mean, he's good. He's a serviceable power forward, but he's not. I don't think he's in that top 10, top 15 power forward conversation anymore.
Next we have
Pau Gasol, who's not even in the league. He retired. He's
that's probably why he's below average.
He's in Portland as a assistant. Like he's starting to learn the coaching side of it.
And the fact that we still have him better than some other, like we ranked him better than some other forwards.
Like our next guy, Markieff Morris,
one of the Morris brothers.
The lesser of the Morris brothers.
Yeah, he's kind of he's just the lesser one. I mean, he's a good 3-and-D player, but.
Next we have James Johnson. That's an easy name.
Miami Heat stretch 4. I mean, he doesn't really play much for them. He's more of there just to be there kind of guy.
Next we have Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson. I actually really like Taj Gibson. He's a great leader and a great power forward, but he's just getting old.
Yeah, pretty much.
Next we have Chris Silva.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know who he is. Guessing probably like Washington or something, if I had to guess.
No. Then Cody Zeller.
All the Zeller brothers suck. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Eric.
Pascal.
I
think Eric Pascal has a chance to keep improving. He's obviously a rookie this year, and he is doing really, really good. Obviously, he has to have the chance to shine more because Warriors have nothing.
Obviously, yeah. I think he was like a semi-project player. Was like they didn't expect him to have to do this early in his career.
But hey, he's doing good. And honestly, this is just adding to the depth of the Warriors. If you can have Kevon Looney and Eric Pascal coming off the bench, and then when you trade D'Angelo Russell for more bench players,
right?
Again, the dynasty is not over. It's just on hiatus.
All right, and then our last one in the below average is PJ Washington.
Yeah, stretch 4 for Washington or Houston, I think. Still.
All right. So our next category is our base category. It is our average category. We basically have everybody. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys not in this category left. So we'll just go through them. Serge Ibaka.
For the Raptors.
The dude's.
He's still playing good.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he was a good he's a good 3-and-D player.
Yeah, there's a reason the Raptors traded for him and they won the title.
Yeah. He was actually vital in the title run.
Damn right he played defense.
Yeah, he played defense.
Next up we have Carmelo Anthony.
Career resurgence.
And I love that he is. I love that he just put his ego aside and is just balling right now.
Next is Nikola Mirotic.
I'm surprised he's actually in this level and he's not in the other level.
He was really close. He was right on the average to below average.
He's a free agent. Right?
Yeah.
He hasn't played all year.
I gave him a little bit of a benefit without type thing here because when the
actually Ben's the one who skewed that data.
Yeah.
Because Ben gave him a 1.
Yeah. He had a cool name.
He had a cool name. Well, that's good.
But with him, he was kind of like the guy on the Bulls in that weird transition period after Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade.
I'm the only one who didn't give him a 3.
Well, Nikola Mirotic, I mean, when he plays, he's actually a good player because he was good with Milwaukee when he was with them. Like, he's a good stretch 4. Like, he can hit threes as a big man, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so up next we have
Lauri
Markkinen.
Lauri Markkinen, Ben, you also kind of skewed this data just in the opposite way. Did you just know he was a Bulls player?
I didn't know who he was.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't like his name, too.
Ben did not like Lauri Markkinen's name? Is it because his name's Lauri?
Yeah.
It's just, my thing with him is he's still just a little young.
Yeah, he is, but he's playing good, though.
Like,
Lauri Markkinen's kind of been
like, he has potential to be a 2 on this list.
Oh,
yeah, which
definitely.
I put him as a 2.
I gave him a 2. We all gave him a 2.
Yeah, I get it.
Except for Ben.
Like, he could be a 1, but it's just, I think he's just a little too young, so he needs a little bit more time.
Yeah, I agree.
Next we have Kevin Love.
I wish Kevin Love could get off of Cleveland and go to a contender. Kevin Love, when he plays, like, with a good team, the dude's a beast. Like, his Minnesota days, I mean...
Well, see, and I would beg to differ because, well, actually, my thing is I don't think when LeBron was there, they used him properly.
Well,
That was
like,
my thing.
LeBron changed the way Kevin Love was because when he got to Cleveland, they made Kevin Love lose like 40 pounds.
Right.
And that really ruined his game.
I agree. Like, when he was in Minnesota, he was one of my favorite T-Wolves players. I freaking...
Oh, wow. CJM, let's
Augustana.
go. Oh, shit.
Oh, is that going to go all the way?
No.
Well, that's a good play, though.
So next we have the highest rated average player, and that is LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
Which he could...
LaMarcus Aldridge is still good. He just is playing for the Spurs. And
He's
the
getting a
Spurs just
little
aren't looking
old.
at great.
He was really close to the above average category.
He could probably be there, but like I wouldn't want to move anybody down to do it.
So next is Al Horford.
Al Horford is like good. I gave him a 2. Al Horford is still one of the better defensive power forwards in the league. That's the big reason why Philadelphia got him. I think he was a huge component for the Celtics, and I think that's but they replaced him with Enes Kanter basically to play that defensive forward. But I think he's still pretty good.
I think he's good. There's just too many mouths to feed, so he's literally the ideal center. Like, he doesn't piss and fuss when he doesn't get the ball or anything. He just does his job.
Right. But he's never been like the best player on his team.
I mean, that's the thing. He's just never been that best.
Because even when he was in, like, I can maybe argue when he was in Atlanta, but
even then, that was that year they had 4 All-Stars in their starting lineup. Like, that was insane.
All right, next we have Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris is pretty good. I like Tobias Harris.
Yeah, he's good.
Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma is also really good.
He could be a lot higher if it wasn't for LeBron and Anthony Davis. Not gonna lie.
Well, he's also hurt right now. He's been on and off hurt, so he's still trying to recover from injuries and stuff.
Then we have Aaron Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I just see him as a big dunking guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He hasn't really expanded his game.
No, but he's not the worst player in the league. He's certainly not the worst power forward in the league, but I'd be lying if I said
he got robbed of a dunk title. And I'll proudly say that by Zach LaVine. As a fan of Zach LaVine.
Yeah, no, he did.
Next up is Julius Randle.
Julius Randle's a 2. Easy.
Yeah, he's literally the premier 2.
Oh
shit, go for it.
Diggs. Oh. I think if he would have just kept running out to the left where he would have outsped him.
So next we have Marcus Morris.
The
better of the Morrises.
Still not great. I mean, he deserves the spot here.
Then we have Marvin Bagley.
Rap artist.
That
Marvin
dude,
Bagley.
I will say Marvin Bagley, in 5 years, he will be a top 5 power forward.
I agree. Marvin Bagley's a
beast.
Then we have
Jabari
Parker.
Jabari Parker.
He fell off, really. He's kind of a bust.
He kind of is. He was decent when he was with Milwaukee, but touchdown, score update. Dalvin Cook with a rushing touchdown, Minnesota.
Chris Carson got injured earlier, so that's something we need to watch.
I guess.
Then we have Derek Favors.
Just getting old.
We're almost done with this, guys. You can watch the game, I promise.
Yeah.
John Collins.
I think you guys slept on him a little bit.
What did I give him?
You gave him a 2.
I did not give him the worst ranking. Brandon gave him a 4.
John Collins is a good defensive
Yeah.
big man for Atlanta.
That's why I gave him a 2.
I gave him a
I give him a
1.5.
3. Next we
Are you
have.
secretly an Atlanta fan, Duncan?
Duncan
Yeah.
is an open Atlanta fan. He's told us this.
I'm not a secret Atlanta Hawks fan. I love Atlanta Hawks.
Well, you said you were a Golden State fan like not too long ago.
Yeah, but
No, there's certain players, right?
then
So
you discovered who Trae Young was.
I love Trae Young and who'd they draft?
DeAndre Hunter.
The other one. DeAndre Hunter.
the not Nazir. Yeah.
No, he's from Duke. He's the really
The
Yeah.
new guy from Duke.
not RJ Barrett, the other one.
Oh
Not Zion.
no, yeah, not Zion, not RJ Barrett.
Anyways, I'll look it up while we can keep going down the list.
Do we say Thaddeus Young or is that what we did?
No, we are on Thaddeus Young. Thaddeus Young, he went to Chicago to kind of. I don't know why he went there. It was kind of weird for him to go there, but
Yeah.
Next we have the college legend himself.
Cam Reddish.
Zion.
There you go, Cam
Cam
Reddish.
Reddish.
I love Cam Reddish.
No, we have, next is Cam Reddish's old teammate Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
I put a 0 because I don't know yet.
Well, that would boost his score. You mean
That's actually why he got such a good ranking.
Oh,
Because it averages out, you put a 0 there.
well, I gave a 2 because here's the thing: is if I'm looking at just from a potential standpoint, the worst he'll be is a 2.
well, see, then there you go. That's what I was doing based on potential. Potential to be a
Zion
2.
Williamson is the second best person in the average category.
Well, he
Because-
deserves it because I feel like that's the worst he'll do in his
But
career.
because he got a 0, it would be completely.
Fine, I will go fix it and put a 2.
that's gonna drop him immensely.
Then that's totally fine.
No, it only dropped him 0.4 points.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Next we have Danilo Gallardo.
Danilo Gallinari.
That guy.
He barely made the average.
Him and the next guy also barely man. Next guy is Nemanja
Nemanja
Bjelica.
Nikolic.
I don't know.
So, he's seriously has one of the weirdest names in the NBA. But
Delita.
All right. So now we're going to our above average categories. This one, there's 3 of them. So we're going to do the lowest to the best in the above average. So our lowest in the above average is Blake Griffin.
I've been saying it. The dude is literally a beast. He just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he's next to Andre Drummond that it makes it harder, but I think Blake Griffin's still a beast.
I give him a 2.
Wait, Griffin is overrated.
It's underrated.
Overrated.
Underrated.
I think
Overrated.
he's perfect.
Next we
I think
have-
he's rated perfectly where he's at.
Next we have Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell.
This dude's too low.
Yeah, you can put him in the 1s.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
Brett, we gave him a
1.8.
4 before the show started.
We got him a 1.8, which isn't bad. He's out there with some pretty good names.
But he's
So-
he's like, he could be argued as a top 3 center. And he's a backup. Technically a backup. He's a 6-man.
All right, and then our last one in our above average category is Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, that's a beast.
The Latvian unicorn.
I almost wonder if Kristaps is just kind of being a little bit shadowed by
Oh, definitely.
A little bit.
Luka Doncic.
Not even close.
Well,
Yeah.
like you see those two play together, they actually have like awesome
Amazing chemistry. They have great chemistry.
Like they pump each other up. Obviously, like Luka don't need the pumping, but
he just does.
it just happens.
It is what it is.
Like that's like probably the best white duo in the NBA right now.
Probably just one of the best duos, period, in the NBA.
But like,
I don't even know if
it's
you can
probably-
name another white duo.
Yeah, that's true.
So next up, we have 4 in the top-notch categories. Again, we'll do worst to best. So the worst one in our top-notch is Draymond Green.
Yeah, he's the reason I put him so high is because just defensively, he can literally guard 1 through the 5.
Yeah,
He can guard
that's-
anybody.
I put him in a 1. He can put up 20 points if he wants to, and he's one of the better defense players in the league.
He almost had a quadruple double like 2 years ago, which is insane.
I just think his like attitude can sometimes get in the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Even though
it's
sometimes it boosts his play, I think sometimes it get in the way. So that's why I ranked him where I did.
Sure.
So next we have Pascal Siakam. is what we're talking
Pascal
about.
Spicy
Siakam.
P.
Spicy.
Do you think he's the 3rd best power forward?
Yes.
He's my favorite Raptor player, that's for sure.
He is a beast. He is literally a huge reason why the Raptors are maintaining their status as the reigning champions. And He's like he can make a case for most improved player of the year award he won last year.
Yeah, last
Which
year
is unheard of.
Right.
Like,
he really played. Yeah, and if you look at the playoffs last year, and like that whole Raptors run, they talked about Kawhi.
yeah!
No, but the other guy they
Vote for
talked
the
about
podcast.
was Spicy P. So I think that's really cool.
So our second best power forward is Anthony Davis.
So, you know, people
Yes, sir.
who actually listen are probably like, who the fuck is better than Anthony Davis as a power forward?
Well, then I was gonna say, are we gonna talk about Anthony Davis? I mean, he's good. He's Anthony freaking Davis.
I mean, he's getting hella boosted by LeBron. Like
Yeah,
Anthony
what's
Davis
the
by
LeBron
himself is awesome, but like you add a LeBron to it, that team is just crazy.
Yeah. So the only one that was higher than Anthony Davis was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
We put him as a power forward.
Yeah.
We had to choose somewhere for him to go, and that's where he plays the most right now.
And that's where realistically he would fit with his measurements and everything. Because he's 6'11".
Do you think he's better than Anthony Davis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Because Anthony Davis can't play every other position at the same time.
Well, it's just because Anthony Davis is a little bit less versatile athletically than
Chris
Giannis
Carson's
is.
okay, everybody.
Like, Giannis is just, like, there's a reason he's called the Greek freak, because dude's a fucking freak of nature.
Yeah.
So you're okay with him being the number one?
Oh, yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right.
Good job, guys.
Yep. And that is our NBA ranking for this week. Power forwards. Next week we got small forwards. Ooh. Giannis is also on here.
He'll be taken off.
We'll just put Giannis in every single category.
He really could be.
Would he be number one in every category? Would he be
No.
number one in point guard?
Yes.
Yes, maybe.
At this point right now, yes.
But that's for later.
Yeah.
Are we putting LeBron as a point guard?
He's in here as a small forward.
I would.
Okay, guys. If LeBron is, I'm just gonna be
Discussion
outright.
for next week podcast. As always, I'm Ethan.
I'm Duncan.
And then, come on.